Well, welcome to How to Trade During the Midday Show. That is your boy Joey Options. And no, we didn't plan this. We're dressed up.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it happens.
We're just going to wait, Joseph, for everyone to weasel on over from the other stream. I'm going to try to do something different. I'm trying to say some names that we don't say all that often. I think the YouTube brings certain people over quicker than it does others because we always have the same people coming in early. And that's not a bad thing. Shout out to T Money and Catmandu. Indeed Money is here as well. Joseph, we got Oliver Costeros. We got, let's see the new names, the Sankofa Square. Dundas Square. Krita Meta. There we go. I saw. Oh, nice. Okay. I see you talking about law there. I like that. We got Mo. We got Easy Media. We got Ezekiel. Ditch the charts. Go to level 2. I like that name. Stock Up. We got LM and Yield Hunter. Nice name. Trader B. Shout out to Hey Davis. And then Fast Trades and 0001. Angel, what is up to you as well? We got Drew P. Okay. No, not finishing that one. You almost had me there. Neil's chuckling. We got Jordan. We got Baspa. We got Boo Boo 8 and CR7. Lendon 7. Oh, I don't know. That's a whole bunch of names there. Zuri Blake and ForexAU, the OG. We got Varun. We got Traveling Options Seller and Leo. Shout out to Baron Trump? Is that you? Michael P. Alia. We got Hades Trader, but we have to interrupt because Adara is at the big desk with breaking news.
For the very early interruption, guys, but we have Snap here to the downside. Let's check on Meta as well. And in case you're wondering, yes, it is another TikTok-related catalyst. Apparently, the U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear arguments in ByteDance and TikTok's case to pause the law that would force the sale or ban of the TikTok app. So now this could go through here. We do have Supreme Court hearing arguments from the company as to whether or not this ban should go through. So keep an eye on META and SNAP. If I get any more information, I will pass it on back to you guys.
Yeah, that's important stuff right there. Big volume spike and a drop down for Meta. So we're going to have to cover this super quick here. Joseph, if I show the chart, 426 HOD on Meta. And then the volatility came in. The algo spike dips down, breaching 619, Joseph, about 618 and change. We're at 621 now, well off the highs. Keep your eye on Meta. Obviously, we've been talking about the TikTok tailwind and how that could benefit Meta as well as some others. Obviously, X stands to benefit from that as well. So we're going to have to see Donald Trump, not mincing words, saying that TikTok has a special place in his heart, citing his son Barron's use of the platform, as well as it assisting him, according to him, in the election and helping reach a younger audience. And he said, he did quite well, Joseph, with the younger audience there, whether you agree with that statement or not. But that is the look there. Lots to talk about today, Joseph. We've got a great lesson. We're going to talk about Gann lines, but you got something we're going to cover in the sectors first.
Yeah, there's absolutely that, Sharif. We're going to go over the sectors, the top performing sectors before we get into the lesson. And then maybe I'll touch on something real quick, too. But, guys, you know what we're going to do here? We're going to go over the win play show, first, second, and third here. So in first place, surprisingly, is the healthcare sector, all right? Up about 0.4% on the session, 0.4 there. Guys, then we have the tech sector up again, the same as the healthcare system sector, folks. So up about 0.4 there as well, too. And then the financial up about 0.3 as well, guys. So those are the top 3 performing sectors thus far this morning. And then, we're going to go from the bottom up. So let's see what we have in last place here, guys. And again, it's the energy sector just getting absolutely destroyed from a daily standpoint, down about 0.25% there, folks. And then consumer staples, the same thing, second last consumer staples down about 0.25% there. And then consumer discretionary down under 0.1%, about 0.04% there. But before we send it to you, Sharif, real quick, I'm going to do something. I just want to show somebody, show the people something real quick on NVDA, because we were talking about this yesterday, Sharif. I said, I'm really curious to see how this candle closes. And sure enough, we got that indecision print below the lows. And then now we gapped up and we continued that price action. So we got that bounce in NVDA. That's what we were looking for. And as you can see from the price action today, we are continuing to trade higher, my guy.
Joseph, that 130 level is a thing.
It's
a thing.
Big time.
Yeah,
Big time.
so
Yeah. So that was beautiful. That was a nice bounce there, a nice indecision print.
Yeah.
And then we get the continuation.
Well said,
today.
my man.
So.
All right, let's weasel on into the lesson of the day. We're talking about Gann lines, Gann lines, however this individual's name is pronounced. Let's talk, though. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the more fascinating aspects of technical analysis, a.k.a. Gann lines, developed by your boy, W.D. Gann, who was an influential 20th century trader. These lines are designed to help us predict price movements using geometric angles. While Gann lines might seem complex at first, they offer unique insights into trends and turning points. So hopefully, by the end of this lesson, you'll not only understand how to draw these Gann lines, but also know how to apply them IR-gang-L in real life, is what that meant. All right, so let's get to it as we always do, beginning with a very basic introduction of the concept. So Gann lines are trend lines drawn from significant highs and lows on a chart, but unlike your traditional trend lines, of course, they are constructed at specific geometric angles. The most famous of these lines, the most famous angle of them all for Gann lines is the one that's 45 degrees. Now, you're going to tell me, I've been hearing this a lot in the chat, hey, if I zoom in, if I zoom out, it changes the angle. I'm going to explain that in a second, okay? It's not going to change the angle if you have a starting point and an end point, all right? I do get what you're saying. If you zoom in, zoom out, the angles change, but they will not change if you have a starting and an end point. So let's talk a little bit more about it. According to Gann, that 45-degree angle represents the perfect balance, according to him, between time and price, where for every unit of time, there is an equal unit of price movement. That was his theory, okay? However, but why focus on geometric angles? Like, what was the idea behind this? Well, Gann believed that the markets were governed by natural laws, including geometry, obviously being one of those, and that price movements follow predictable paths that can be plotted at specific angles. So let's give an example. So Gann didn't stop just at that 45 degree. He posited it that was the best of the ones, but he introduced additional lines. Now, I'm not gonna go through all of them. We're just gonna go through some of them. The steeper angles, for example, that 63 3/4, that 75-degree angle. These indicate stronger uptrends, and they have different rules. You got your flatter angles, though. So 26 1/4, 15 degrees. These suggest weaker, more gradual trends. Each of these lines serves as a form of dynamic support and resistance as price moves across them. So they act as your traditional trend lines, but they're obviously drawn using geometry. For example, in a rising market, if the price might find support at the 45-degree line, right? So you're whiffling, you're waffling, you're making higher highs and higher lows, then you get a retracement. If you've drawn it right, you may be able to find support at that 45-degree line. If that breaks, the next level of support could be that, that 63 3/4 lines. And here's kind of what they look like in real life. So here's what we do. You find an area low or an area high, depending on whether we're going long or short, and then you're able to find one specific point that you're able to draw from. So you find a specific high and a specific low, and that's your starting point and that's your end point. And based on that starting point and that end point, you're able to draw different angles at different lines. So how do these compare to Fibonacci's, or as the chat will say, Fibonacci's? Now, some of you already may be familiar with the Fibonacci fan lines. Fibonacci fan lines, I did it again, which are often compared to Gann lines. Let's briefly talk about how they differ and where they overlap. So both Gann lines and fibs are used to identify potential areas of, obviously, support and resistance. However, fib fan lines are based on key Fibonacci ratios like that 38.2, 62.8. We're all familiar with them, right? While Gann lines, they're focused primarily, or purely, I should say, and strictly on geometry, specific angles of price movements. But here's where it gets interesting, right? Gann lines are meant to be used at precise angles, independent of the market conditions, whereas fib fan lines, on the other hand, are based on retracement percentages from the previous move. So it doesn't matter where you are in the move, as long as you have that area high an area low, you're able to make educated guesses about where the price action is going to retrace. You don't necessarily need to use the percentage of retracements. And again, here's kind of what it looks like. These are fib fan lines. You have your area high, you drag it down into your area low, and then based upon that, you have percentage retracement areas. So that's what we're all kind of familiar with there. So how do we apply this IRL in real life? What are the practical applications of Gann lines? So let's move beyond theory and let's get into the practice. How do we use them in real world trading? Like, first of all, we can use them to identify key areas of support and resistance. So in an uptrend, for example, we're making higher highs, we're making higher lows. If you draw these Gann lines from the lows to the highs at the specific angle that I've talked about, 45 degrees, 63 3/4, and so on. You can do a quick Google search for all the different angles that he uses. These lines act as guides where the price might find support if it starts retracing. Nothing is foolproof, but it helps put the odds in your favor. So for example, if the price begins falling and breaks that 45-degree line, that halfway line, this suggests a deeper correction, potentially to that 63.75, maybe even further. But it also helps you predict market turning points. So by analyzing where the price interact with Gann lines, you can predict the reversal. So if a price falls, for example, below the Gann line, but fails to break that lower Gann line, so below that 63.75, we have the other one, about 75 degrees, okay? You may find support at 75. So you should be, or not even that, what you should be looking for there is, okay, we've broken 63.75. The chances 63.75 gives way and then moves all the way down to 75 has increased by this many folds. So you can actually take a short in that trade. So it predicts market turning points. And then there's also different time frames, dynamic trend lines for different time frames, I should say. So one of the great features of these Gann lines is their adaptability across different time frames. Whether you're looking at the daily, whether you're looking at the weekly, or even the intraday minute chart, these Gann lines can be applied. Their geometric nature means they adjust according to the scale of the chart, providing a consistent framework for trend analysis. And it's always important to combine them with other indicators. Like we've always talked about when we talk about technical analysis, never rely solely on one tool. Always try to incorporate as many as you can, as many as you know how to use well, to see where the balance of probabilities are leaning. Is it more on the left? Is it more on the right? And then make your educated guess. So while Gann lines can stand on their own, they become even more powerful when combined with other tools like moving averages, fib retracement levels, etc. For example, if a fib level coincides with a Gann line, the chances that the level hold increase nicely. So if your fib levels are jiving with the Gann lines and you're possibly maybe in that overbought territory, oversold, if you're taking a short, everything's jiving, add another, weight on the scale to that side or that side, however it's working. But we'll talk about the criticisms and the controversies of these lines when we get back from Adair at the big desk.
Sorry for this interruption. We do have a little bit of news here for TSLA. I'm seeing comments here from Alpha Value's Adrian Brazy. So I guess this is an analyst firm here saying that Tesla is likely to potentially look to acquisitions to diversify, specifically saying that it's likely they could be looking to acquire specific brands from Western car makers. So specifically in the auto space, TSLA reportedly potentially looking to diversify through acquisitions. It's worth noting, this is not a report about anything specific that's happened from the company, purely analytical perspective here from Alpha Value. But keep an eye on TSLA. Apparently, acquisitions could potentially be the next step to watch out for this company, specifically with its auto brand. Back to you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, bro.
Like and subscribe.
Right there.
Bang.
There it is, right there.
Oh, that's a new one there, eh?
Hey, no, that's an old one. That's why it's flickering.
All right.
Yeah, the Chilean nightmare doesn't.
All right. I'm catching a lot of heat in the chat about the glasses today. I didn't bring the glasses, and
yo, leave the man alone.
Yeah, no, it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. No, I'm going to get a suit tailored this evening. Hey. So I drove in today. No, it's okay. It's okay.
That's Ram's hand, by the way.
All right, let's see what we got here. Hey, all right, these are real fashion. These aren't even blue light. These are real fashionable here. But the folks want me to put those on. Yeah, so I had to drive in this morning So yeah, it's a little bit of a rush because it's hectic getting into the city, guys. But I just want to point someone out in the chat, Palm Beach Peter. Yeah. Okay, all right. What was this, a fashion show? Yeah. Okay, finish your lesson there. Let's.
Right. This
is not a fashion.
This guy's going through a fashion show. We're trying to do a lesson.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back into.
We're almost
get back
done,
into the lesson there, my
So
friend.
some of the criticism, the controversies of Gann lines or Gann lines, they have their enthusiasts, but not everybody is sold on them. So the first and foremost, which line will work? Which line should we really be looking at? I'll submit to you that you should be looking at all of them. One challenge, though, the book says with Gann lines is the uncertainty around which line will hold as either support or resistance. With 9 different Gann lines potentially in play, it's not always clear, guys, which one will have the most impact, so keep your eye on that. And there's also the criticism of using geometric trend lines as opposed to trend lines that shadow or try to gauge price action, support, and resistance. So some chartists argue that the idea of geometric trend lines is too rigid. Market conditions are often far more chaotic than a simple geometric pattern might suggest, making these Gann lines unreliable in certain market environments. And last but not least, they lack predictive certainty, right? Even if one of the lines holds, there's no way to predict which one will until after the price reacts to it. So it doesn't have, that predictive value unless you're really looking at jumping in before it's confirmed. So this can make Gann lines more reactive than predictive in those fast-moving markets. Obviously, that has its drawbacks. So despite these criticisms, many traders find value in Gann lines when used in conjunction, always, Joseph, with other technical analysis. I gotta say it, baby. I hope everybody prints up a storm today. And all right, I'm seeing already notes in the chat about different small cap gappers to look at, Joseph.
Yep.
So we'll get to that in a hot second. But what are you looking at, my man?
Yeah, I'm actually just monitoring IBIT as usual here, guys. But I'm going to take a look at SMCI for some people in the chat because I told them that I would do that. And we're just going to look at it from a daily perspective. We'll start with the intraday here. I really like how it's trading around VWAP. Let's see what this consolidation phase can do. Are we going to sit on top of the volume-weighted average price and then continue higher, or do we just chop in this range and then potentially make another leg down? Because the Qs are currently selling off, so let's keep that in mind, guys. But let's zoom out here a little bit and then go to a daily and look at this from a daily perspective. We know that we filled this gap, and then we immediately rejected it right after. So let's see what we can do from that standpoint. Again, it's a little bit of a chop around day, looking from a daily perspective, nothing crazy going on, and then we've seen that from an intraday outlook as well too, guys. So I'm not going to expect anything too much here on SMCI as of right now. Again, this usually happens on FOMC days. Up until 2 o'clock, it's a little bit of a choppy session. I think that we're fortunate enough to see NVDA continue to trade higher, but now pulling back in towards the volume-weighted average price. Again, as I mentioned, as the overall market is starting to sell. So let's keep that in mind. We're going to get a little bit of that choppy price action leading into that 2 o'clock hour. As soon as that FOMC announcement comes out, if the Fed decides they want to cut, pause, and I highly doubt they're going to do a rate hike. Let's see what happens, but I'm sure it's going to bring some volatility into the market, all right? So just, guys, be patient. Don't force any trades as of right now. It might be a little bit of a choppy of a session leading into that 2 p.m. Time slot, all right, guys? So just keep that in mind. SMCI is not looking too bad, but again, it's chopping around in that kind of phase there. So let's see what's going to happen here with IBIT as well. Can we get a continuation trade on NVDA? We held VWAP really well for the first half of the session, and then we've made a new leg and then made a new high of day as well too from that previous one. Now pulling back, hovering into that intraday range, that 5-minute opening range that was established earlier in the session as soon as we opened up. Again, let's see if we can hold this volume-weighted average price. Otherwise, I'm going to suspect that there's going to be some more downside in the market. Now, let's take a look at GME because I know a lot of folks in the chat are talking about GME. Let's pull it up from a daily perspective and see what we got going on here. Okay, so we're running into some key resistance levels on that front. 32.50 being a good, potential big resistance level on GME. Let's see if this volume can step in, and then you can break through that key level with some momentum. Let's break it down. Let's get into some intraday. Yeah, let's break it down into some intraday levels. Okay, yeah, we like the volume on the breakout, but what I don't like is, as you can see, we had buyers push price all the way up to 3170 level, and then sellers pushed it all the way back down with the inability to crack that 3170 level again. So you're going to want to see that volume step in. Wait for that pullback. As I mentioned, 2 o'clock is going to be key. So don't expect for those extended moves until that time. So again, let's see if we hold this level, and then maybe we can continue to the northeast here on GME, folks. What do you got going on there, Sharif?
All right, we're weaseling into a couple of positions here, Joseph. So here, the first one I got into, let's talk about this one, CDIO, couple of bottoming tail candles into that $1 area defend. It looks awfully head and shoulder-ish over here, especially given the area. So I am concerned. It's got all the right I guess, preconditions for that head and shoulders pattern. It has an uptrend preceding the formation of the pattern, left shoulder head, right shoulder. We'll see if this one wants to hold the dollar area. Now, the reason I got into it is because it's curling off that dollar area, and it had bottoming tail candles that came into a dollar, which to me said people are buying it exuberantly off that dollar area, and therefore I wanted some smoke there. So we're going to layer some orders up here to see till we can weasel out of this if it does.
A delayed bang.
Hey, that's all good. That's all good. You got to update your.
Yeah, we got to update, baby. We'll do that later. Yeah, we
So CDIO, Joseph, first one we're involved in right now. I'm also involved in PLRZ. Adair let me know about this one. I was watching this one trade before we got onto the show. I was looking for price action support at VWAP. We didn't get it, but there does seem to be a different area of support that it's respecting on the day. And again, I talked about this yesterday. For whatever reason, the 50 exponential moving average on the 5 is featuring these days with some small cap gappers. Not all, but it's featuring with some. It featured with a couple yesterday. So this one finding support today, both at the open, we go right into that 50 and defend it, and then we weasel down into the 50 over here, hold 3. Look at all the closing prints above the 50 exponential, but we are kind of stuck between that 50 exponential and the volume weighted average price. It's using that area as a range right now to whiffle and waffle. Now, let me tell you a couple of things. I'm breaching one of my rules for these small cap gappers by taking it long south of VWAP. That's X number 1 on my side. There's more X's basically things that I typically wouldn't do. In addition to that, we have a symphony of lower highs and lower lows. Look at that downward channel. That downward channel is serious, and it's being well respected over here. So I put my stop below $3. If it doesn't hold 3, I'm gone Zeno, but I'm looking for this one to break and take 375. I'm earmarking that 3 3.75 as an area high because of the double top on the 5-minute look there. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph. We'll see. There's plenty of others that I'm looking at. Obviously, Nuke got nuked again to the high side today, up over 100%. This one was a quadruple digit winner, over 1,000% yesterday. We got NVDA. If this thing wants to stay open, maybe we'll be able to trade it. This has been a halt fest here on NVDA, but it's up big and it's halted again. It's a $1.21, up 181%. We also have VRAR, good looking chart. That is, of course, until it did a V-shaped retracement south of the volume weighted average price. But lo and behold, another small cap gapper finding support at the 50 exponential. You've got a 4-candle hold up right now on the 5-minute chart at that 50 exponential. But again, much like PLRZ, this one is stuck between the 50 and the volume weighted average price. So I don't want to be in 2 stocks that are below VWAP, breaching my rules twice. So we're going to pack our patience. Now, Joseph, last but certainly not least, KUL dang R. Beautiful looking pattern right now. Now, this one's holding up at the 10 exponential. So theoretically, you could get in here. But I was looking for a bit of a deeper retracement. I wanted something around $2. Reason is you had price action resistance at $1.95, and you also have that volume weighted average price a skosh below 2. If I could get in there, that would be the most ideal, but sometimes you don't get the most ideal setup. So I'm going to try to weasel in like half the size here at the 50 exponential, and I'll plan my dollar cost average into that 2 or that volume weighted average price. And QUBT, sorry, I lied. I said last but not least, QUBT is reclaiming VWAP. It's at 2420 HOD. It's back at 22.5 right now. Nice V-shaped retracement. Another day of great movement for these quantum stocks, up another 34%, Joseph.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff. And Sharif, I like that you're looking at QUBT because I am as well currently right now. So let's keep that in mind. I'm a little late to the dance on this one, and what I'm looking at here, guys, is this 5-minute print right here. This would have been an amazing signal in order for me to get long. Unfortunately, we missed it, and we cleared some key resistance levels as well, too. So let's see if this stock can go and test the highs of days. It is now sitting second on the docket in the highest volume thus far in the session with 125 million shares traded. But what I am in, guys, is some TQQs. So I just want to point this out. Because it's almost an identical setup to what QUBT was doing. So you see this indecision candle here at a potential low, at an extreme low. And I'm going to show the kind of the similarities here in the Qs. So this is the same 5-minute print that I'm seeing from QUBT to the Qs, all right? So let's keep that in mind. I have an out at 534, but I'm using the TQQ's vehicle. So if that breaks the low of this candle, then the thesis is invalid. But as of right now, I think this can be a potential bounce candle. Let's see if we go and test the volume-weighted average price. Then maybe we'll look to take a little bit off. But if we can continue past the past VWAP, then I think we can go potentially test somewhere around the high of days. Are we going to form a lower high? Possibly, because you can see these pre-market highs that we failed to go and test as well too, forming a lower high from an intraday perspective. So we're going to continue to monitor the Qs. We're in the TQs. Not the best entry. I would have liked to play the break of the high of that candle, but I just want to show the similarities in QUBT signal and the Q signal. We did this in the volume weighted average price, in my, not volume weighted average price, the volume price analysis lesson. So these are the signals that we're going to look for. So I'm going to display it one more time on QUBT. And then you're going to be able to see the similarities in these prints. So you can see that from a 5-minute standpoint, guys. You have that indecision candle at a low after having a really strong opening drive, even with this candle here as well too, guys, with the inability to break the lows. So let's see if we can continue on QUBT. And then here we are one more time. We'll pull up the Qs one more time, just so you can see the correlation in between the price and then see what happens from that standpoint. So identical prints on the Qs and on QUBT, guys. So yeah, we're going to hold on to this. It's so far working out. We have now breached VWAP on the TQs. I'll pull it up on my chart here for everybody because we're going to look to take a little bit off here now because that signal was working. And with that high conviction, you need to take a little bit more size. So that is my fault on that front. But again, when you see these price action patterns, you have to take advantage of them. And sure enough, that's what's going on here. So same print. It's the same stuff that I'm looking for day in and day out. All right, guys? So you'll see them at extreme highs and extreme lows. We did this in the volume price analysis lesson. Maybe we'll do it again in the near future just so you can get these these heavy correlated setups because I did this on iBit for the past couple of days as well too, guys. So yeah, let me know what you guys are looking at in the chat. Great look on TQQ, brother. Thank you, sir. Hey, Davis, as always, brother, we got that nice indecision print. So let's see if we can go and test these highs of days, as I mentioned before. GME, yeah, Krika, we just looked at, so I don't want to botch your name, Krikita, but we just looked at GME. We are still continuing to trade higher on this one, potentially going to go and test the high a day here. So a nice break of this resistance level. So now the next step is, are we going to go and test this high a day and then possibly breach it? So again, it's either a new high a day or a lower high on that front. But TQs is working really well. This market is absolutely buzzing. So as of right now, so let's continue to hold on to this one. Sharif, what do you got going on for the folks?
All right, we got that DCA that we wanted right at 3 on PLRZ. And I'm happy that I got that because it's popped up about 25 pennies. But again, we're not out of the woods. We're holding 3 but we're putting in lower highs. So now my game plan for this one is to scalp out rather than wait for that big boy breakout trade. I will leave a little bit for the dream if we do get that breakout. We're still putting in a symphony of lower highs and lower lows. And I'm lamenting having gotten into this because it's breaching my rules, and I'm seeing exactly why I had those rules to begin with. The DCA is great, but I got in way too high. So we have a price of 21s right now. We're printing 20, so we're not that much out of the money. But I told what's her name? I don't want to butcher her name either, but I did respond to her in the chat there. The individual that was asking about GameStop, let's have a look at this. So we're getting a 4-candle hold up right now on the 5-minute chart right around 31.54. So essentially 31.50. There does seem to be a bit of a seller, but that's not new. Because look what we're doing over here. From 10:45, this is the 1 minute, excuse me, let me flip to the 5. So I was wrong. So I was on the 1 minute. That's not a 4-candle holdup. It's a 2-candle holdup here at 31.5. But it does have a previous area of resistance right at that 10:45 area where we worked our way up into 31.5, dropped down below yesterday's closing print at 31.25, and we had a whole bunch of indecision here. Look at these candles. They don't show any discernible trend. Very top heavy. Top wick, low wick, and then finally this candle at 11:20 propels us above the closing print. So I don't know. I never trade GameStop all that well. I see support at 31, given that it was a resistance area earlier on. We end up taking 31, so I would rather use these areas of support and resistance to get in. What does that mean for you? Put a resting order around 31.33, 31.25. That's where I would pick it up because there was obviously an area of resistance there. In addition to that, it is yesterday's closing print, typically used as an area of support or resistance. So that's my suggestion for how to trade GameStop at the moment, but we'll have to watch what the price action does. Maybe it changes the situation. So that's the look there. What else are we doing? We got CDIO. Still haven't got any prints on that. Looking for this one to hold the 10 exponential and curl back up. We're still in PLRZ, a few pennies out of the money there. And we're in KULR, and we're a couple of pennies out of the money there. But we've got planned dollar cost averages on KULR to account for, oh, there we go. Now we got the print quick. So good. Now KULR is coming down into that $2 area. And if we get anything, Joseph, below that 190, I'm Gonzino. Shout out to you. Well, I'm still got my planned DCA there into 195 to account number one for an area crest that we put in right at 1010 and the volume weighted average price. So we'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. But maybe I will get upset about PLRZ, Joseph, because it's coming back down again, and I breached my rule. And it looks like I'm going to pay for it today because it's coming down below 3. What are you looking at?
Sharif, have you seen Tesla? Like, wow. Yeah, it's absolutely buzzing. It's now going to go and test the previous high over here, which I think would be all-time highs. If we can break 480, or not all-time highs, sorry. Yeah, actually, yeah. What am I talking about? All-time highs. Yeah, okay, I'm losing my mind there for a second. But yeah, guys, 484, I think that'll give us a new mark there, 485. Absolutely buzzing to the top side so far. That volume is stepping in on the 5-minute. You can't ask for much more. This stock has just been on an absolute tear for the past month and a half, even a little bit longer since the election. So expect this thing to appreciate more. And when we say, like, hey, we're looking like Robotaxi could potentially add $1 trillion to this market cap, that means the stock is almost going to double in that time frame from whenever it starts pricing in. So just keep in mind, maybe the market is pricing in a little bit too early, but it doesn't matter. You just play the price action and go with the flow. And sure enough, Tesla, day in and day out, continues to perform. It does get a little memey, and that's the deal. And that's the beauty. Totally. Yeah, and that's the totally beautiful aspect of it, guys. So again, continuing to move higher. And so we're going to send it off to Adair in just a second, but I want to talk a little bit about Apple and something that I heard that was interesting right after we get back from Adair.
Just keep an eye on AMD here. CNBC reporting that AMD Ventures, so their venture capital arm, helped to lead a investment in Volter, which is a GPU cloud provider, at a $3.5 billion valuation. We know that AMD has announced some acquisitions lately. So interesting here. AMD Ventures leading this GPU cloud provider funding round here, $333 million funding round with a valuation of $3.5 billion. Back to you guys.
What do you got for us on Elon?
On Elon? No, I want to talk about Apple, Sharif. And you see,
Apple,
yeah. And you see this list here?
I do.
This is what, like, all the ETFs that Apple is sitting in, which is absolutely ridiculous. So when you have new inflows coming into the market, because we know we have $7 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines and starting to flow into the equity markets, and when people start buying ETFs, and Apple being in every single, essentially almost like all these ETFs, I have a list of 10 ETFs, this is going to raise the price of the stock as well too. So I found that extremely interesting on why Apple is continuing to appreciate. So yeah, let's take a look at that. So it's on almost everything, like XLK, the IWF, the Qs, SPY. It's in the Dow as well too, I believe, isn't it? Right? So yeah. So like, you know what I mean? So when all these new inflows are coming in and people are buying these ETFs, then sure enough, expect kind of Apple to continue on the path that it is right now. So again, in so many different ETFs, inflows coming in, and sure enough, this can explain a little bit of this price action. So that was something I really found interesting on Apple, and sure enough, it's continuing to climb higher. Is it going to go and test new all-time highs today? Possibly. As of right now, if this market continues on the path that it is right now, with Tesla roaring to the top side and the Qs continuing to move, I think that it's going to drag Apple along with it to again an all-time high. And I'm going to look at some more of the mega cap tech stocks as well too as I send it off to our guy Sharif.
Absolutely. All right. We're doing well here on KULR. We're not doing well on PLRZ. So KULR, we got that dip trade into 205. I wet my beak there into 24s, but I still have, or 23s, excuse me. Still waiting. I had a planned out on 25 and then 35, holding bigger shares here, despite the fact that I didn't get my 195 ad. It didn't weasel into that level. So we'll pack our patience and keep an eye out on KULR, looking to extract some more profits long 8s. Shout out to Pretty Panda. I know he's trading this with me as well. Also, keeping my eye on GME. Now, I've set my orders up. I said I like the price action support at 30s. So I put a couple of dip trades to see if I can get a better price in and around that level on GameStop. Only up 0.46. Kind of trading this just to keep things interesting, guys. We're going to trade it with small shares, okay? And then CDIO curling nicely, but very slow. And you're not getting that kind of parabolic effect to the high side that we got sub $1. Like, look what we were doing here at around 10 o'clock. Waffling at 90 pennies. Then quick as you like, we were at $1.14. You're not getting that kind of movement today. But what you are getting from CDIO is incrementally higher lows and higher highs, but just not with that aggression. So we'll see if we can weasel into this one. As I look, looks like GameStop's running away from me over here, back above that 3150, looking to kind of bull flag here in the 3160. Look, if I don't get my fill on GameStop, that's fine. I'm going to leave my dip trades where they are. I will not chase this trade. It's either going to come into my levels and I trade it off my levels, or I will not trade it. Now, PLRZ is coming into my exit, and there we go. We just got stopped out as it did dip below that 92 penny area. That's where I was. So we'll take an L on this one. So yeah, there you go. Follow your rules, baby. Follow your rules. Take them north of VWAP. Don't take them south, despite the fact that I did see support at the 50. But maybe I was kind of seeing what I wanted to see there, so I could weasel into it. So that's the look. We'll take an L on PLRZ. We'll keep our eye on KULR, up 52.5%. Doing well on this one, and looking for CDIO to curl. Now, let's have a look at the MAG. Been trading the MAG in a hot minute, but we can have a look at them. So Tesla, obviously the rocket ship, today looking awfully good, 486. We've been talking about, that 500 level. We were saying, that could be a theoretical possibility, or not theoretical, obviously theoretical, a realistic possibility yesterday. It didn't come to fruition. Today, who knows? We're only up 1% today on Tesla. So if we really get going, maybe we could see mid-90s, low 90s, something like that, and then work our way into that 500. Maybe by week's end, maybe before Christmas. We'll have to wait and see. Yesterday's closing print on Tesla, right at that 480 level. So we just took it not that long ago. We're above it by $6 at the moment. We're going to have to keep an eye on Tesla for a decent trade. Apple, break even at the moment, 253.5 is the closing print from yesterday. The high, 253.80. That really takes us back into the highs from yesterday. I want to say today's an inside day, despite the fact that, we did get that institutional print at 8. That took us into almost 254. We weren't at 254 yesterday. So yeah, maybe technically not an inside day if you believe in those institutional 8 a.m. prints. But we're going to send it to Adara at the big desk.
Let's take a look here at some of these earnings names from today. So names that reported last night or this morning, and then what we're going to have on tap for tonight. Starting with BIRK, this one reported this morning here. Still up on the day, but certainly removed from day's highs here. They did actually beat on EPS and sales, and apparently well-received guidance here for Birkenstock. Then we've got General Mills to talk about. Actually nice recovery, but down about 2%, mostly due to their guidance, which was pretty weak across the board. Lowered their adjusted EPS guidance for fiscal 2025. Initially, they were seeing at 1% up to 1% down. Now they're seeing that the EPS is going to drop 3% to 1% on a year-over-year basis. So no EPS growth is expected from General Mills. They also lowered their fiscal 2025 organic net sales outlook because apparently they've increased promotional investments. So interesting look there for GIS, which did beat both EPS and sales estimates. Tonight's going to be a huge night for earnings. Stay tuned, 4:05 p.m. Neil and I will give you Micron earnings. Analysts are looking for $1.75 per share for EPS and revenue of $8.71 billion. Another name to watch tonight could be Lennar. That's going to be 4.18 here, so $4.18 EPS estimate for Lennar, and then revenue estimate of $10.16 billion. Tomorrow morning, a couple names as well: Accenture, Cintas Corporation, and Darden, all set to report, as well as CarMax and Lamb Weston Conagra. So a lot of these actually pretty interesting names tomorrow morning. In terms of day trading, though, Micron tonight is probably the biggest one on watch. Back to you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, Joseph.
Good stuff.
I'm seeing a new small cap gapper entrant over here, and this thing is flying, boy. QMCO up 50%, and it just really started getting volume recently. I mean, it had good volume to open, but look at this. This is midday volume right here. All these bars start at 11:20, and they've been, it's just pure greenery here. How many green candles do we have in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad on the 5-minute chart. Let's throw in the ticker QMCO. $168 million market cap with about 3.62 million shares traded today, and a float of around 83 million shares. Let's find out what the short float is on this bad boy, QMCO. About 18.2%. Okay, that kind of makes sense. It looks like some people were getting squeezed over here because that's a whole lot of greenery. And not just the fact that you had green candles back to back, but you can see the strength of the trend when the candles are closing near the highs, right? That's one of the things you look at, for strength on the daily, and it's absolutely applicable to intraday trades. If the candles are closing at or very much near the highs, you know that that's big boy strength coming in. But true to form, it's getting extended away from the 10 exponential on the 5, which I use as an informal gauge of oversold conditions. 35.53. Right now, the high, just based on how it's trading, I can tell you it's spready, but let's confirm that by weaseling on over to a trading screen. I'm going to take out this pile of garbage, PLRZ. We're going to put in QMCO. Oops, QMCO. I'm willing to bet you it's on the NASDAQ, and I'm right. 50 penny spread. No thank you. This is like an Adara trade right here, bro, because it's super spready, and she loves the spready names. Yeah, I'm staying away from this. It's a beautiful looking chart on the 5, very directional, but it's going to be really hard to manage risk, with the way that I like to do it. And so I'm going to probably steer clear away from this unless it's like an A triple plus setup. Anyway, headed high. I'd like it possibly, if I was to get into this, off 31 or 32. That way it would come in a little closer to the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and I wouldn't feel so, I wouldn't feel like I'm buying it really at the highs or at the extremes. So we'll keep tabs on this one, but unlikely to trade it. But for anybody who loves these spready names, here goes. It's going to take out highs. 35.53 HOD. Here we go, Joseph. The aggression with the way this moves. It's going to take out that 50 penny area, and then quick as you like, you could see $36. So there it is. Another high, 35.79. This is destined to take out 36 or so, it seems, up over 50% on the day. All right, we're doing well on KULR. We just took out that $0.25. We're long 07, so about 20 pennies in the money. Now I'm going to wait for 35s. That's going to be my next level. Look at QMCO go, bro. This is about to take out 37s. We were just talking about 36, dude. So here we go. This one's really getting parabolic. And again, we know it's a higher short float. What I didn't do was I didn't chart on the daily to see, you know, where the shorts could be trapped. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to have to chart on the weekly because we haven't been up here in a hot minute. And then the weekly doesn't work. I don't know why it does that. So let's load it up on a different one. QMCO. Oh, nice. It's got the one that I like on there. Let's flip to the weekly time frame. Weekly. There we go. Okay. So we definitely have people probably that are going to be trapped above 40. Look at that print that we had back. I believe this is January. Wow, January of 23. Is this January 23? Yeah, it is, dude. January of 23 was the last time we were up here. It was about a $40 high, and we also had resistance at 40 going back to July and August of 22, excuse me. Calm down, bro. So if we get into that 40 area, I'm willing to bet that we'll probably squeeze a little bit. Now, it's going to depend on whether we get there or not, but we haven't been up here in, yeah, you can say almost years. It's going to be 2 years almost since we got up into that $40 level, so it's going to be, I'm going to be definitely watching this, so much so that we're going to have to actually have an alert on for that $40 area, whether we want to trade it or not. So let me throw on an order over here at around 40 bucks. Not an order, excuse me. Why does it do this, Joseph? I'm going to need answers. It's unknown contract. What's happening over here? I can't look at the daily. So I'm going to have to throw out an alert at that $40 area to kind of let me know what the situation is. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm actually just watching Tesla continue to make all-time highs here, Sharif, sitting at 487 and change there. Just been on an absolute monstrous run. I know someone in the chat is saying, why aren't we looking at Soundhound? And you couldn't be any more right. Why aren't we looking at Soundhound? We should have had our eyes on this thing. There's no doubt about that. Sitting fourth on the docket with about 69 million shares traded on the session, continuing to push higher. And the run that Soundhound has been on for the past little while has been absolutely phenomenal. With the volatility picking up, those candles expanding, and the IV as well picking up on this one too. So you're getting the volume sustaining this move higher. And sure enough, it's been like, what was this, a month ago? Let's see what it is, roughly about a month ago. Yeah, I mean, it's sitting around $6.50. So like that, yeah, absolutely phenomenal stuff there from Soundhound, continuing to move on that parabolic trajectory, as well as Tesla is, Sharif, because this thing is still making new all-time highs. Is it going to go and push 490 on the session? It's looking like it might, because I didn't think that this was going to happen today, but sure enough, I thought this would be a potential turnaround candle because we have been extremely extended, and sure enough, it isn't. We've blown past that now. Excuse me. So that thesis, yeah, choking on the coffee there. Yeah, so again, this thesis is invalid, continuing to move higher. I think if we move past 490 today, then 500 is definitely in the picture potentially this week. So as you can see, the volatility is also starting to pick up in Tesla. All right, guys. And let's take, actually, speaking of volatility, let's take a look at the VIX here, Sharif, because sometimes we don't keep our eye on it enough there. Oh, no, I don't want VIX options. No. All right, let's pull it up here. Okay, we're not going to get it on that, so that's totally fine. We'll take a look at the VIX on something else. But again, I think that started to pick up as well too. But Sharif, I wanted to talk to you a little about 2 o'clock here coming up. Do you think that this rate cut coming up is kind of a dovish Fed cut or a hawkish one?
Everyone's saying it's a hawkish Fed cut. You've got the economy down south, not like this great economy that we have on this side of the border, Joseph. But they're growing at 3%.
3%.
Some quarters even more. So you know, the whole point is, what would be the use of cutting when you're in this decent growth cycle? It's not COVID growth. They're not printing 5% anymore. A lot of people talking about, you know, the boys in the morning show were talking about the dot plot and how that could reflect a much more cautious approach into the new year, because you know, we'll see exactly how many they forecast. So what's the situation here? So CNBC actually did an informal poll, Joseph. While 93% of respondents thought that they were definitely going to cut at this meeting, 63% only that responded support the cut.
Okay.
So, you know, we've always heard about the Fed being late, this, that, and the other. Advocates are arguing policies over restrictive and the risks of harming the labor market are still there. Others are saying, no, we're firing on all cylinders. What's the point in cutting? We'll have to wait and see exactly what his justification is. But yeah,
I totally agree with you on that front too, Sharif. I mean, the Fed is data dependent as well too. So, and we all know it's a little bit laggard when it comes to that macroeconomic data. So again, I agree. I don't know if we need a cut, especially because you mentioned that the economy is booming. They're growing at a way better rate than what we are. So do they need a cut? I don't know, but I think JP is going to come in with the cut, and then I think we get some pauses following that as well too.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely think we'll definitely get a few pauses next year, unless something fundamentally changes. And so the others, great comment here. Powell, I think he meant has to cut because of inflation coming down. You're not wrong. The point is not to be reactive. You got to know what's the situation is going to look like so you can help make proper predictions. You've got an incoming president who's very pro-business, who's really kind of looking at deregulating. And what we seen in the past with deregulation is it's very stimulatory and helps with growth. If that's the case, then we really need to be on the lookout for inflation rearing its ugly dang head again. Because with growth comes inflation. They are a part and parcel of it. You cannot have growth without inflation. Where is that money going to be redeployed into? What are people going to do with the profits, right? Rarely do people actually just save it and hold it in the account.
Yep.
So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we don't have to wait that long. It's almost 12 o'clock right now, and so we'll find out what the situation is there. So that's, it's going to be really interesting, Joseph. I got to tell you.
It's interesting. Yeah, and that's why I was going to look at the IWM because we know that it's also interest rate sensitive as well, too. So let's take a look at some of these small caps. This is your field, Sharif. There's no doubt about that. Let's pull it up let's zoom out here from a daily perspective. And I mean, it went on this monster run, especially after the election. Now coming back in, filling most of this gap here. But again, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Out of like 18 sessions, 15 of them have been red. So just keep an eye out on that. I think this is going to be really important for the Russell 2000 here to see what's going on, especially after 2 o'clock. So I think that will have a dramatic effect on the smaller caps. But guys, let's talk a little bit about NVDA and why I'm essentially in this one. So guys, it's kind of the same thesis as the Qs, right? 5-minute candle, little indecision. We had a really strong opening drive and continued that trajectory to the northeast. That pullback was a little aggressive, and they usually tend to be. But again, now we're holding key support levels around 134.50 and now starting to push higher. So that's why I seen, okay, we pulled back. Those candles weren't as orderly as they were when we were going to the top side. So let's find a place to get in when the price starts to turn around. And sure enough, hovering just a little bit below VWAP, we held that 134.50 level really well and then continued to move to the top side on that front. So as we start to move higher and higher, I'm going to start trimming a little bit more here on NVDA starting to push. Are we going to go and test the high a day? That I'm not too sure. I think 2 o'clock is really important, but we got some breaking news here with Adara.
MC, this is the second day in a row we have Honda on watch. Yesterday, Nikkei reported that Honda and Nissan were in talks for a merger. Then Nissan came out and said the companies have not confirmed this, which wasn't really a denial or a confirmation. But now we have Nikkei reporting that this merger here between Honda and Nissan is likely set to begin as early as Monday in terms of these merger talks. So we're not going to have an announcement yet, but apparently the talks for this merger ongoing apparently as early as Monday. HMC still on watch, down about 2% right now, though, guys. Back to you.
Attaboy, Greg. Greg V is long NVDA from here as well, too. Nice brother, man, as always. We haven't talked too much about crypto today, Sharif, have we? So let's take a look at what Bitcoin's up to. And I mentioned this before. I didn't love the price action. I didn't love this breakout here, Sharif, because it kind of curled up more. The price didn't compress in a consolidative form, and then we kind of just curled back up, and it kind of seemed that it was a struggle. We were struggling to push to those all-time highs. It wasn't anything like these breakouts that we had here, where the price action is decisive and we want to push higher. Again, we did move higher, but it wasn't as clean, and that volatility skew didn't step in, where we become more volatile as we appreciate, opposed to the opposite, how the markets move sometimes. sometimes. So you get these big green days, but we didn't get that in this case as we pushed higher. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come back and we retest that 100K mark on Bitcoin and then maybe consolidate a little bit longer. I know you had about a 10K range as well too, Sharif, on Bitcoin. So let's see what happens here in the coming days. I don't want to say it seems toppy because I don't think that's the case. I just think we need to consolidate a little bit more, grab some more liquidity, let people offload those because we do have those bag holders from previous from all these previous highs that are now in the money and are profitable. So maybe they're starting to trim a little bit off. We still have great inflows coming into this ETF. So again, the demand for this is outrageous. So I do think we can continue to appreciate, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. What do you think about that, Shreve?
Yeah, I agree, Joseph. But let's talk a little bit here about some economics with respect to growth and inflation. I was having a conversation with an individual in the chat. Guys, many reasons for inflation. They're not all always present at the same time. So we know with growth comes increased demand, right? As the economy grows, people have money to spend. This increased demand for goods, fewer goods being chased with more dollars, and it can put pressure on goods, it can put pressure on services, and put upward price pressure. There's also the wage price spiral. As more people chase fewer goods with more money, there is more demand for people to get paid more so that they can afford those services and those goods in the economy. So workers will demand, and we've been seeing this everywhere. UPS workers got $170,000 or whatever last year, including benefits. So that forces employers to raise wages. When you have the raising of the wages, obviously you have more money in the economy, and that spirals. Now, not all growth is considered equal, right? You have different types of economic growth. You have growth that's due to productivity increases. You also have growth that is more stimulatory because you're adding like what we did in COVID, money into the economy, right? And that gives more people, I don't want to say unjustifiably more dollars because maybe it was justified at the time, but you're artificially increasing the money supply and therefore giving people more buying power, right? And then you also have the issue of public sector employment. I know in this country, the majority of the jobs that are being added are public sector jobs. Well, why does that matter? Because that goes right back into the taxpayer, right? So there's different ways to look at inflation, but to say it's supply constrained and to disassociate the growth aspect from inflation shows that you really don't understand the whole corollary between the two. So I disagree with the individual in the chat. Now, having said that, let's talk about my trades. We're killing it over here on KULR. We just took out the top. I'm setting up another beak wetter at 41s for the top there. Now, I said I wouldn't trade QMCO, Joseph, but I did. I lied. So I got the bottom there, and we took out $1.20, I think $1.75 on this quick as you like. I took it with small size. This one is still halted, though, south of $39. It's halted at $38.82, and the top is exactly that, $38.82. Hasn't changed, so we'll keep an eye out on that one. This thing is a dang rocket ship, and I traded it with small size just so that I could get involved. But, yeah, we're going to have to see how this one works out. Now, I'm also involved in GameStop. I told you guys I trade GameStop if it came into my level, and we got in at 31. So let's set up a beak wetter over here, look for some profits, and we'll layer our orders in case the unforeseen happens and we give way at that 31 1/3. So I'm involved in 3 trades at the moment. We're going to trade in GameStop just to keep things interesting. I will trade it with smaller size, but we will be involved in it. CDIO continues to bore me to death. Where's my CDIO trade? There it is. Continues to bore me to death. It was putting in those higher highs and higher lows. I don't think it's really doing that anymore because it's kind of broken trend. I still have my stop below $1. We're in 105, so I'm going to risk into $1. We'll risk 5 pennies, come what may. But I did like the fact that it was putting in higher highs and higher lows. Now, it's still bullish because it's still above the volume weighted average price. But I don't think anymore that it's really setting up for that head and shoulder pattern. I think it would definitely manifest it. This is one hell of a right shoulder over here. Like that's this guy. Who's this guy? Roger Clemens.
Yeah, what's up with that right shoulder?
Remember You remember the disproportionate body that Rogers Clemens had? No, you don't remember that?
No.
Because, well, pitchers in general, they they're bigger on their pitching side than they are on the other side.
With when you take gear.
Well, yeah, that happens too, Joseph. Here we go, guys. QMCO open and blowing through all the levels again. Took 40 out like it didn't even matter. Here comes 42, 41. 60 something right now. 66 is the high. We're still waffling below it. Up 71%. Very parabolic name. And here's the level that we talked about. We haven't been above 40 since January of 23. So this could be the area where we get the parabolic squeeze. And we already have a move up into 42.5. Keep your eye out on this one. If you're risk averse, stay away from this one. But if you like it, then this is the one that you guys should be looking at right now. $40. I was earmarking that area as, that squeeze area. Adair, what do you got?
Happening now segment here, the midday edition. There's been a lot happening in this market, but you wouldn't really know it by looking at the Qs or the SPY. NASDAQ about flat on the day here. SPY up about 0.25%. Though it's worth noting they both recovered nicely from early weakness as we await the FOMC meeting coming at 2 p.m. Eastern. So exactly 2 hours from now, we will be finding out if the Fed is going to be cutting rates. We are expecting a 25 basis point cut. So this will be the third cut this year, following a 50 basis point cut in September that was slightly higher than expected, then another 25 basis point cut in November. So we're going to have to wait and see if the Fed gives us what we're expecting. Half an hour after the decision comes out at 2:30 p.m., Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be doing a press conference and Q&A. I will be listening to that and giving you guys any live updates. Tesla recovering from early weakness to make new all-time highs as it is doing. We have some strength in NVDA as well. And let's take a look at some other names, I guess, on watch here. We do have Meta, META. This one and Snapchat both made a pretty sharp move down here with volume around 11 a.m. as we did get reports that the Supreme Court is going to be hearing arguments in ByteDance's and TikTok's attempt to pause this law that would force the divestment, banning or sale of TikTok. So TikTok trying to still stay in the game here. Supreme Court allowing these arguments to take place. So there has been some pushback from senators saying that there is no point or reason to delay this ban. Then we also have to talk about names like SoundHound and GME. A lot of these retail favorites with higher short floats are getting some love. I'm not seeing any catalyst on SoundHound from today, though. Dan Ives, an analyst we talk a lot about the show of Wedbush, Dan Ives gave them a price target increase here from $10 to $22 back on Monday. As of right now, trying to hold on to $23 for SOUN with a 25% short float. Make sure you also vote in the poll, which I believe is still up in the chat, for whether you want to go long or short the SPY. I'm not sure if that's still happening, but if that is, check that out. And make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And we're going to go over to Neil, who's going to give us his lesson of the day right ahead of Fed time. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adair. Back with another lesson of the day. You know, when I see these small cappers running the Treefus trading, a lot of times it's like, oh, if it ran day one, maybe you look for it on day two. Like the biggest mover yesterday, sometimes maybe not be the biggest mover today, but it can give you a distinct direction. I just want to talk about the continuation trade. And here's a couple of examples, and something Obi and I have been discussing a lot recently. Look at Starbucks. Now, how could you have thought that maybe this was a fake move to the upside and it was going to end up trending down and possibly even continuing trend down for the day? Well, I think it gets a little bit simple. And what did it do yesterday? There's a spike at the open and then trend down for the rest of the day. Okay, well, there's nothing crazy or distinct about that. Let's zoom out some more. And then there you have your reason. Big dump, tries to rebound, and then continuation. So clearly what you have here is a reverse of trend, and then suddenly the stock gets weak. And if you look for a continuation trade as a day trader, you have to be patient about it, but you're pretty much winning unless you're very sloppy with executions or undisciplined for a couple of days in a row. So what are you looking for when you want a continuation trade? I think you got to start top down, right? Like go out to the higher time frame. Something like Starbucks it's like an obvious one, and I'll get to a couple of others that aren't quite as obvious, but I'd like to hope that these types of setups should be. You can see the stock holding a nice gentle upward trend since this new CEO was announced. It loses the 50-period moving average in a big way here. Now, the last time it did it, it was an immediate rebound. So this time it loses the 50-period and closes at the low. So there's your big down day. So you just simply come in and look for a continuation of the trend. It pops in, first resistance. You just either first resistance, prior close, and then just keep going from there. Fails first resistance, fails prior close is a second opportunity, then trends down the entire day. Today, fails prior close instantly, and then just sort of trends down. So I think we've identified what we're looking for. It's not just that the stock was up or down the prior day before. You want something extreme. This is why when everyone was screaming about Marvell in this morning, or at least a lot of people in the chat were screaming about Marvell, I went over, saw this. I wasn't in yesterday. I didn't even notice that Marvell had made this move. You can't check every single stock, but Marvell got destroyed in yesterday's trade. Like, this was a 125 down into 113 move. Huge move to the downside for Marvell. Huge. If you look at it in the daily chart, trending up, obvious trend reversal temporarily. The last time it did a big one, 3 or 4 days in a row to the downside. You get closing at the lows on weakness, can't seem to hold a bounce. So what are you looking for? Okay, well, where are key levels? You have, 115 is an obvious one, but then you look at this prior bottom, about 114. If it can't break this, that's where we fell apart in the afternoon yesterday. You're looking for a short. Well, don't get that. Unfortunately, wasn't looking at it fast enough, but that's okay. If it's going to trend down because your bias is simply short, well, just look for the next opportunity. Can it fail underneath the low and at that key 112 price? And it gives it to you. It comes right back. You don't get the top, but it gives you that VWAP, the 112. And the key here is that you're just looking for short setups. And anyone that's in your playbook, you have a bias in a direction, which is what you want to have in a general sense. And I'll throw you another obvious one that I think for a couple of days people should have been looking at, and that was Broadcom after earnings, because earnings are a great place to hunt for this kind of a thing. So Broadcom, this is what you're looking for. Big move up on earnings. It gives you, obviously, there's your gap up, gives you a continuation the second day, but then what happens yesterday? You get the big dump down, close at the lows, and then look at today. Down 3.5%, your continuation, there is first resistance, double top at 240. It can never claim it, and then it's just trend down. What you want to have are simplistic setups in your playbook. Ideally, they don't just give you places to execute, where to execute, what to execute on, but they should give you, ideally, a bit of a bias as well. Underneath this price I like short, over this price I like long, and then you can start looking for setups that are in your playbook. There is nothing more simple than this type of a continuation. Because all you have to do is see what was a big, strong move the day before, and did it signal a reversal on the daily chart? Was it a big down day after a strong run to the upside recently? Is it a big flat bottom break of a key support level on a stock that was trending up on the daily chart? Those types of things. And then you just sort of lean in for a couple of days, bias in that direction, and then multiple trades will set up that day. And it's more about what to trade and where, and then go from there. There's your lesson of the day. Stick to that continuation trade. Oftentimes, it's as simple as looking at what made the most significant move the day before to give you the simple trade day of. Good luck, everybody.
Good stuff there. Also, Adara, just wanted to point out what Adara said in the chat is AMD is also getting a lot of media attention too, so multiple tags. I'm going to pull up a nice little tool here. So the Wall Street Bets most mentioned stocks. And yeah, AMD's up there as of right now with about 17 mentions so far, with NVDA sitting at the top of that class with 97. But I think Adara has some more news on this, so let's hear from her.
And I shared this news a while ago. It had a bit of a delayed reaction, which sometimes is the case. Things don't always react to things right away. If you recall with Google and the quantum chip, it actually reacted a full day after that story came out. But anyways, what looks like, because I'm not seeing anything else here in AMD, and I'm also not seeing a lot of sources covering this, CNBC reporting that AMD's venture arm, which is called AMD Ventures, co-led a $333 million investing round in a GPU cloud provider. So some GPU investment co-led by AMD here. This would value that GPU cloud provider, Volter, at $3.5 billion. So this apparently viewed as a positive catalyst here for AMD as it gets involved in some funding. It's also worth noting tons of social media attention. We're seeing the type of stuff that we usually see for names like GME or SoundHound. So lots of people looking at AMD right now. If I find any other catalyst, I'll let you know. But it looks like it might be a delayed reaction to this story, guys. Back to you.
Appreciate it, Dara.
As always. Yeah, guys, I want to just, I'll send it over to you in a second, Sharif. I know you got something going on.
Yeah.
But if you're accumulating like some AMD around here and then this stock completely turns around, you're going to look like a genius because this thing has been beaten up for the past couple of, over a year now, trading at those December 11th, 20, or December-ish 23 levels, which is insane. So if you're accumulating shares there, and then this thing goes parabolic, then you're looking like a genius. But Sharif, tell the folks what you got going on.
Well, we just took a $2 winner, bro, on QMCO right now, man. I'm really happy about this, and I took it out early.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm an idiot, bro. That's why.
I said it.
Told me to hold
I'm
it.
like,
I
just
didn't
hold
listen.
it, bro. I said hold
There
it.
we go.
Did you punch out all of it?
Dude, I got lows both times.
Yeah,
like,
that's
look at
nice.
this. So we got the initial low here, and then we had the best out over here. Look how good that out is.
Days.
That's brutal. And then we got stopped out on this one, got right back in. We only lost about $1 on this one. We made $2 on that. Here we go. Moving back up again. I could be persuaded to punch back in here. I think we take out 42.5. QMCO is going, guys. Here comes $40 again. And we're also doing really well on KULR, man. I think we're like 58 pennies in the money or something. Where the hell is it? Here we go. Now we got to wet our beak a little bit, bro.
Dang.
So we're going to take out some here at the $0.50 on KUL-R. Let's set up something in the 60s. We're not going to sit at 69 quite yet because I don't think we're quite there. But you know, this takes 60. I'm going to have an order at 69. That's the way that is. So we're going to wait here. KULR, very, very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I don't think there's been a closing print south of the 10 exponential all day. Now, whether you look at that 930 print, nope. Nothing below the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. You had this wick over here at 1130. That's it. And look where the closing print is. Well north. Well north of that 10 exponential. So we're moving on up. We got into 58s. I have my beak wetter sitting at 59s. And then if we take out that level, we'll start looking a little bit more north. So I'm happy with the way KULR has been trading. It behooves me to give you information on it because I don't think I did. It's not technically, you know, in the strict sense anyway, a small cap gapper. It's got about more than a $500 million market cap, 535. It's traded big boy volume on the day, 77.1 million shares. And I don't see the float on this, so we're going to bring down Trade Ideas, KULR, and the float, according to Trade Ideas, is about 157 million with a short float, decent, 7.8%. Certainly not the biggest, but definitely will get things moving. Oh boy, GameStop just dropped on me. Okay, so I got to get out of that. Oh boy, GameStop falling here. Okay, so I did get my DCA into GameStop. Now, if it breaches 31, that's going to be the end of the trade on GameStop. So we're going to have to keep an eye. I'm just going to have to send it to you for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
set up on GameStop.
Type in your orders there, Sharif, guys. Yeah, so we're still holding on to a little bit of TQs. We're holding VWAP really nicely, but again, I mentioned this before, that we're just going to chop around probably until 2 o'clock. Now we're in that lunchtime hour, so expect things to be a little bit more choppy. We are now pulling back, so just be a little bit weary of that. But again, forming some lower highs here, or sorry, some higher lows, and just chopping around on NVDA. We got that bounce play. So let's see what, or am I talking about TQs? I got NVDA in my mind. But yeah, NVDA doing the same thing. We're still up about 3.5% on the session, still moving really nice on that front. Just again, I think a lot of anticipation coming into FOMC. I think this is going to be a big one, especially just from where we stand from a technical standpoint on the overall markets, right? Like, are we a little bit toppy? We've cleared these all-time highs and then essentially haven't really looked back since that point. So, and we're still continuing a little bit higher. 530, 556 is that print on the Qs right now. But yeah, Sharif, what do you got going on?
Yeah,
there?
sorry, brother. I just set up my stops and everything on GameStop. I'm looking to defend GameStop into the volume weighted average price. That's going to be my line in the sand. It's a skosh below that $31 area, but generally at 31 now. It's given up the level that I was basing my trade off 31.25, but I did have my planned DCA to shadow for this area support over here. So we just got right back up into that 23 penny area, and that's exactly where I'm long now, 23 pennies, but now we're 10 pennies out of the money. So we're gonna have to see exactly what the situation is on this. I'm not gonna let this one go against me all that much. 31 will be my line in the sand. All right, KULR, we took out 59, so now it's time to set up at 69. So we're gonna throw out an order there for KULR to the top side. Now 260 HOD on KULR, very strong, but we're gonna have to see if that strength can continue. Now it's getting a little extended on the 10 exponential on the 5, which again, I use an informal gauge of overbought conditions on these small cap gappers. So some selling coming in now at around 60 pennies, but gonna pack my patience.
That's a nice one there.
Yeah, it's not too bad, brother. Not too bad. KULR, still didn't get my DCA on that. I don't think that's valid anymore, Joseph, at 195. So probably should take that off. KULR dip trade. There we go. We'll get rid of that bad boy there in case, you know, it really flushes. But back to QMCO, my man. Here we go. 39 again. We definitely had trouble taking out 39s, but we're putting in higher highs. We're putting in higher lows. Everything looks real good here on QMCO. It's just the question is, do we weasel back in? And, you know, I'm awfully tempted to. And here we go with 39s. Big seller got taken out. Not on the bid yet. The bid's still south of 39. 95s. We're ahead of it on the ask, so there is somebody selling still at 39. We still haven't moved up above it, so we'll keep an eye on that. And there it goes. QMCO is headed back to the upside, baby. We already put in a 42.5 print. Great day today for QMCO. Again, I'm trying to tell you guys that there does seem to be this area that we haven't been above. It's above 40 bucks for almost 2 years. In next month, it'll be 2 years. So last time we've been up there. So here we go. I feel if we take out the high, this is really going to get going. It's already up 78 and change. Over here, it's going to halt. Here we go. It's going to halt at 42, 44. Let's see if this is a false halt or not. Getting a zillion prints. 42.41, excuse me, the halt level, or it seems, at least it seems, and there we go. We're halted now at 42.41. Yeah, really lamenting not having punched in there, but yeah, that's the situation right now. So we'll look to continue to play this one. I don't think this is one's done by any means, and it hasn't halted all that much. I believe this is the second halt. Let me just double check that. Yeah, a second halt on QMCO. Both halts have been upside halts, so good strength, well above all the moving averages. So we'll wait for this bad boy to open back up again. KULR rejecting off that 60 penny level, coming back down into 45s. Gonna keep my eye out on this one. How's GameStop? Okay, GameStop right back above my entry now. So I'm gonna set up some beak wetters. Let's go ahead and just set it up over here. We're gonna front run some of the size, and then we're gonna be looking to take out the majority of the position into $0.50, with ultimately we wanna leave a piece for the dream ahead of that 31.70. HOD, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Nice work there, Sharif, man. You're killing it today. There's no doubt about that.
Can I just do one quick thing? Flavius Pascan, can you explain halts, please? Sure. Yeah. That's a great question because we were trading these small cap gappers all the time. It behooves me to tell you about it. So if we move more than plus or minus 10% within 5 minutes, there's something called a volatility halt. And so the exchange does that, you know, to kind of get things under control a little bit. You know, they don't want things moving up too aggressively, parabolic up, parabolic down. So again, if you move more than 10% within 5 minutes, the exchange halts it. Now, how does this halt system work? Usually when it's a halt for volatility, which is plus or minus 10%, you'll get a halt in increments of 5 minutes. So the minimum it will be halted is 5 minutes, but it can go 10, 15, 20, etc. Okay? That is the general rule when it comes to that. Now, what's taking place while the stock is halted is an auction system. What's happening here is people are sending buy and sell orders for the stock while it's halted. And the exchange, what they do is they take that buy order, take that sell order, and they try to pair it. Okay? So if Joseph's trying to sell at 31.35 and I'm trying to buy at 31.35, the exchange will pair my order and Joseph's order. We don't see that. That's obviously taking place behind the scenes. But the point is, there's an auction system, a pairing system happening there. So when there's an imbalance of one type of order more than the other, for example, an imbalance of buy orders or an imbalance of sell orders, the theoretical auction price will be either above or below the halt level. For example, let's look at QMCO right now. Let's do a case in point. We're halted right now, 42.41. That's where we stopped, right? But look where the theoretical auction price is, 42.40. So basically 1 penny below the halt level. What does that mean? That means currently there's an equilibrium of buy and sell orders that are being paired by the exchange. So that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll have that theoretical auction price $1, 50 pennies above or below that halt level. What does that mean? That means there's an imbalance of either a buy order or a sell order causing the theoretical auction price to be above or below the halt price. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about volatility halts. Volatility halts are not the only type of halts, by the way. There are other types of halts called news pending halts. We don't have exact times for when those unhalt. In addition, the volatility halt, the whole thing that I just explained, is not present in the pre-market or the aftermarket. So anytime before 9:30, there will be no volatility halts. Anytime after 4 o'clock, there will be no volatility halts. There are halts during the aftermarket and the pre-market, but they're news pending. They're not volatility. Hope that helps.
Yeah, good stuff. As always, Sharif, you learn something new every day. There's no doubt about that. And you're catching a lot of love in the chat about that there. So yeah, good work there, Sharif, as always. Let's see what this market does here, guys. We are hovering around the volume-weighted average price on the TQs here. I do think that at some point we can continue because NVDA is continuing to rise here. We're not quite at the high a day, which is totally fine, but we're headed in that direction. So let's see what the FOMC brings, and maybe we can continue. But I mentioned this not too long ago on AMD. I mean, I don't know how much lower this stock can go. I mean, we're at levels from 2 years ago, essentially. So again, I mentioned this before. If we can hold this 122.14 level where we see this big pivot and that big candle print there, that big bar print, like if you're accumulating shares at these lows and then this stock decides that it wants to turn around, I think you're going to look like a semi-genius on that front there. So yeah, I do think that's possible on AMD. But let's take a look at NVDA. Unfortunately, we didn't get back in this one, so kind of kicking myself on that front because we did hold, and we're holding this primary trend very well. So as you can see throughout the session, we moved higher, a beautiful channel to the top side, pulled back, held that 134.5 level really well, and then we held VWAP as well. So now we're continuing. I do think that we go and test these highs of days, but only time will tell on that front. So let NVIDIA continue to grind higher, and let's see if we can make a new high a day, up about 4% on the session. And we know that the past month or so, trading NVDA hasn't been the best. The semis haven't been in as play as some of these other Mag 7 stocks like Tesla, Amazon, Google, Apple, and etc. So again, we're moving really nice here on the NVDA front. Let's see if we can continue in that trajectory. Yeah, EVO, Hugs, let's talk about some Amazon while we're at it as well too, because I was actually just looking at Amazon and some of the other mags. So we're gonna pull up Amazon for you. Oh, why did I do that? AMZN, beautiful there. Again, selling on the day, holding the Qs back a little bit, but that's totally fine because we're gonna zoom out here and look at it from a bigger perspective. And what's happening on today's session, essentially nothing. So this is totally healthy. Don't hit the panic button on Amazon. AWS is an absolute monster, and I think we'll continue to be on that front. So I think we can climb higher, especially if the market breadth widens here in the market, and then the Mag 7 also want to participate as well too. We know NVDA has been lagging on that front. So now if we just kind of rotate in that aspect and NVDA decides that it wants to move, then I think it's going to drag the Qs, and it can definitely, I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats. So let's see what happens here on that front with Amazon. But again, totally healthy. You went on a monster run, and now you're just consolidating a little bit. You can't just go parabolic all the time. But I like Amazon for the long run. It's a great stock. and a great company, obviously, on as well too. So 2270 on AMD anchored VWAP. Yeah, as AMD continues to climb higher, I'm like, would have been nice to get in on this. You see the volume step in on AMD as well too as we break out. So like, look at this breakout volume here on AMD, and then it's still continuing to push. So putting in a stellar day, and we know that this thing has been beaten to a pulp essentially for the past year or so, and even since the earnings report. So we'll continue to monitor AMD. If it can continue on this path, we know that we have FOMC at 2 o'clock. But again, I like this for a continuation. Adara came out with the breaking news. They're getting some funding, $380 million roughly on that front for the GPUs. I like AMD, especially down here. And I think that's when these big investors are going to start getting involved too, Sharif. Like, yes, you start buying when blood is in the streets, and then I think you're going to be sitting. Because if there is more downside, the question is how much more downside? Because essentially when we were trading up here at 220, almost 230 bucks, we haven't even came close to touching that. And so we're quite a bit off the all-time highs on AMD, but buying down here is kind of where you want to start kind of looking where you want to accumulate these shares, looking where you want to grab some and maybe it will recover. And I think NVDA is going to start recovering as well too, because we had those price action prints from a daily standpoint on NVDA. And we mentioned this yesterday. I was really curious on how this print was going to close. And sure enough, we got that indecision candle, as I mentioned before, and then we gapped up, and then we're just continuing on that northeast trajectory for the intraday session. I do think it's only a matter of time until we go and test all-time highs on NVDA. Let me see how, from a percentage metric, how much we're off the all-time highs here. So again, we're only about 11% now, and yesterday was about 14%, considering what we put in thus far with the session. Guys, Bitcoin's still hovering around that 104K mark. I wouldn't be surprised if we test 100K on Bitcoin, but I really like this. We're bullish on that for the foreseeable future, so that's a good look. And I don't know where to get involved here on AMD, Sharif, because it's just gone parabolic, man. What do you think?
Wow, man.
Yeah,
people are talking about it right now.
Yeah.
But so is your boy NVIDIA. But
Yeah.
I mean, AMD just looks fabulous right here, bro.
Yep.
Is there news on this?
Yeah, there was. Adara dropped it. She dropped it for us.
Why is it not showing up on my
So about
blotter?
330 million funding round for a GPU cloud provider. So again, as she mentioned, it was a little bit laggard on the reaction time from that, but again, now it's kicked in. People are realizing, hey, this is probably positive for the stock, and look at the price action.
Yeah, you know what's lagging right now? My news blotter.
Ooh.
Why is it not in there?
Really?
I need answers.
You need answers. Call them up. Call up.
We're not even gonna say their name.
Yeah, I know.
Unless they pay.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna say. But I was gonna say, call up. What's the CEO of IBKR's name? What's
Thomas Pettifee.
Thomas. Yeah, call up him. He's getting up there too in age. So.
He is. He's an immigrant success story, bro.
Absolutely,
success story. So shout out to him. Yeah. Thomas Pettifee,
is it?
Something like that.
Oh, we'll find out right now.
Another word. All right, guys. QMCO is a dang rocket ship now. It's 80%. I mean, it makes this trade look like crap, and it's not.
Oh, it's Milan Galic, I think.
Oh, they changed.
Yeah. Well, I think
so he's gone now?
Is Milan Galic
check who was before. It was Thomas, wasn't it? Just check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him before. The IBKR, it's Thomas Pettifee, right? Yeah, Katina, man. Well, unless it changed. Yeah. Well, it's not even a big deal. All right, guys, I'm still involved in GameStop. It dipped in volume-weighted average price. I don't know about this one. We'll wait. And this is going to be a loser here if it drops anymore. So we're going to keep an eye out on GameStop, holding VWAP, holding local area support. But yeah, I got to tell you, I'm not optimistic about this. KULR. We did well with this one, taking it out at 60. It's kind of whiffling and waffling right now, has a topping tail candle on the 5-minute that looks ugly. On the other side of the coin, it's still above the 10 exponential moving average, putting in higher lows. So I'm not going to add here, but I'm not taking it out here either. So I'm going to pack my patience with this trade to see if we can eke out something on it. We're involved in 3 trades at the moment. I've been in and out of QMCO a bunch of times. I probably wouldn't hold this because it's just so parabolic and spready. It's a 48 penny spread right now. But here goes with the high of the day again, 44.95. Again, guys, I really want to tell you, we haven't been above $40 since January, well, until now, of course, and since January of 23. This has a short float of around 20%, so you can make an educated guess as to where the shorts are. okay? And that's why, in my humble submission, we're squeezing the way we are right now above 40 bucks. We're at almost 46 bucks. 45.62 HOD, showing me 50s here on the ask. So this one's really going. People are trying to push it down. People are trying to take profits, but this one seems awfully strong at the moment. Gonna pack my patience, see if we can get in at a more opportune area. Havana Woody.
Oh, wow.
That's par, because it sure appears Ben Zing will publish garbage for free sometimes. Shout out to Havana Woody. Look, yeah, I don't agree with everything that they do publish, but you are absolutely right. Forex AU 39.30 bottom buy block on GameStop. That's where actually I put my stop a little bit below that. So you and I thinking alike there, my man. And I did have the opportunity to add at that 31.10 where we keep basing out. Look at that bottoming tail candle. Unlike $31 has already shown intraday that it's a level of support. It did that all throughout here from around, let's say, 1040 since we took it out. We attempted it again at 1120. We'll see if this one wants to bounce off. I've got the beak wetters set up. I think my beak wetters are kind of lofty over here at 39s. We're long 21s. So maybe we'll set something up more reasonably, Joseph. You know, we'll set it up at 30, something like that. We'll see. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. So those are the trades I'm involved in. CDIO, you can see it's doing absolute diddly squat. Where the hell is that piece of, you know what? There it is. Look at this thing. It's just...
Dang.
What is going on over here, CDIO? Wake up, bro.
It's not very liquid, is it?
No, Joe, but you know what is liquid?
Ooh.
QMCO. Here comes $50. We're a triple-digit winner now, Joseph. 102%. 48.40 HOD. I know, appreciate it. Well, I took $1.50 on it earlier. 2 $1 winners on it, Katina, man. Yeah, I know, that's brutal, bro. I've been talking. Look, Katina, man, look how bad the exits are. 2 $1 winners. Oh! The Katina man's back from the swim. He's feeling good. He's eating the chicken. He's got his salad. Everything is good on this side. That's what? Egg salad. Egg salad. I stand corrected. He's still got a salad, though. I know how dare I. Shout out to the Katina, man. Always make me chuckle, bro. $50 is a real possibility now, Joseph, because 49.60 is a high of the day, and something tells me that's going to get blown through. $50, psychological area of resistance. You'd have to assume whether it holds up there or we halt a little above there, but this one is really going now. Neil, it's up 100%. This thing's a dang rocket ship. We were involved in this one at 34. Now it's knocking the door of 50. Unreal. Good look. I love these small cap gappers. It's small cap gapper season, baby. And I think it will be so long as, you know, rates stay cool. Take it in there. Well, we got to send it to Adair at the big desk.
Send it to her.
Speaking of small caps here, Sharif, we're going to take a look at some of these small caps. Some of these Sharif has been involved in, but I'm going to give you guys kind of, I guess, a look at the chart and some of the maybe fundamentals, the backgrounds on these names with regards to float and everything. Starting with KULR, this is cooler. We're gaining compliance with NYSE listing rules. So KULR here with the compliance-related headline of about 72%. 7.8% of this stock's float is sold short, but they have a pretty sizable float, about 157 million shares, and a market cap of $592.5 million. There's also this QMCO, which of course we have to talk about here. QMCO, with a bit of a topping tail candle on the 15-minute chart. This is actually an NVIDIA-related catalyst, saying that they now have their Myriad all-flash file system, which provides support for, is in support of NVIDIA GPU direct storage. So Quantum with a sort of NVIDIA adjacent catalyst. Great look here with a 4.1 million share float. 18.2% of that float is sold short. So it's a pretty small float and a pretty significant short percentage. Another one I'm seeing pop up here is AISP, but a little bit less volume in this, about 3.6 million shares traded so far in the day. No catalyst for Airship AI Holdings, but looks like it is an AI-related name. It's definitely run in the past with a 12.05% short float of 11.05 million shares and a market cap of $107.4 million. So lots of small caps to keep an eye on, but let's check on the IWM as well, because as Sharif mentions, it's definitely going to be a name to watch. As we get that interest rate decision with small caps, IWM can certainly benefit or feel the negative effects depending on what we get. So we have a little bit of a flat bottom here, slightly higher lows around that 231 halves. Right now, rejecting 232 on the Russell. So I have to see if we break out of 232 or if we have a flat bottom break. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content here. We'll take you back to the Bash Brothers.
Hey, thank you, Adara. Joseph,
Yes,
don't
sir.
look.
I'm not looking.
Where is it at? QMCO.
QMC.
High of day. Just give me the high of day.
Hey, high. Set the, I don't know the numbers.
We were talking about that 50. Remember we were talking about the 50 break
51.50.
52.83, Joseph. It blew through 50 like it doesn't even matter. And it probably didn't, right? Psychological support doesn't mean anything,
Nothing.
right? Unless people are actually selling there because of psychology, right? I mean, it's not price action support or resistance. Anyway, this thing's really going, guys. 114%. We had 1,000% winner yesterday with Nuke and UKK. It's up another triple digits today, up 142%. I don't know. I don't think we see another four-digit winner today, especially not QMCI. I don't know what percentage or where this would have to go dollar-wise to hit, 1,000%. But yeah, QMCO is on one. If you like these small cap gappers, if you like these highly, I don't want to say highly shorted, but it does have a sizable short float. We talked about 18.2%. That could be more. Probably less now because I bet you anything people have been squeezed out. That's why we're moving in this fashion. So it's nonstop. It's going 53.70, 53.50 now. Here comes $54 on QMCO. A rocket chip is this one's middle name, and I'm gonna look to. I can't trade this like this. I have to get it in on a drop back. All my entries were on drop backs on this. This one was a drop back. This one was a drop back. So I'm not going to get in unless it pulls back. By the way, the 10 exponential moving average is almost $10 lower than we're trading right now. It's at 43.80 something. We're printing 53 and change. So the 10 exponential, if I'm to use it as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold, well, it's quite overbought. So we'll have to wait and see. If this one wants to come down, I could definitely be persuaded to get in, but right now I'm going to steer clear of it, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff here. I'm looking at CleanSpark here, Sharif, and what a monster run in. I know some people in the chat are talking about CleanSpark, so I pulled it up, and yeah, this thing's trading phenomenal thus far in the session, destroying these higher days and then creating some new one. You see that big volume step in, and then sure enough, we just continue in that northeast trajectory. So again, good look there on CleanSpark, folks. It's trading extremely well, and hopefully it can continue that way. There's no doubt about that. But let's talk a little bit about GME. We're in this. Sharif's in it as well, too. I'm looking to see if we can hold 31. If we decide that we want to break a little bit lower, then I'm going to get out of this trade because the thesis is therefore invalid. So no need to hold on to that. But yeah, let's see why I got into this. You just see that hammer holding right at VWAP, couldn't breach it. So let's see if this can hold, and that's exactly why we take it. Once it breaks the top, that high of that candle, then we look to participate on that front. But I know Sharif is saying Apple's making all-time highs as well, too. And this market continues to move. And Sharif, that's kind of the point that I was getting at. This thing is in so many ETFs, and sure enough, you have those inflows coming in, and look at the result within the price action, continuing to crawl higher. I mean, since we broke this high here on December 2nd, we have about 3 red days out of how many? So again, yeah, absolutely crazy. And there's no signs of it topping right now. This volume is completely average. There's nothing saying like, hey, I'm extended at this point as it just continues that ascent to the top side. So yeah, nice look to anybody who has Apple in their portfolio and or is intraday trading it, because and I like the point that Katina Man made not too long ago. Because the float is so large, there's so much money needs to come into this stock in order to move the price. And sure enough, as I mentioned before, with all the cash on the sidelines coming in to these ETFs, it represents, it shows in the price action from that front. So yeah, really good look on Apple. And yeah, this market is nothing short of amazing right now. It's trading really well, but GME is not living up to its name, right? I don't think right now, Sharif. Kind of lagging. Yeah, it went on that monster run. The volume stepped in, but is now just kind of being a little bit of choppy mess, like the overall markets. The Qs are kind of just hovering on top of VWAP as well, too, guys. So keep that in mind. I mentioned this time and time again. Up until 2 o'clock, expect this type of price action, and then expect that volatility to kick in once that decision comes in. And then you got JP at 2:30 as well, too. So just keep that in mind and keep that in sight, guys. And let's take a look at Tesla. We were almost at that 490 price target, with 488 being the high of day. Since pulled back, but still holding this primary trend really, really well, forming those higher lows as we continue to the northeast on this one. So is AMD still going, folks? Because people in the chat are absolutely freaking out about it. It's not really doing anything right now, so we'll take a chill pill on that front. But yeah, trading really well on the session with a low of day of around 124, now trading around 127.44 on AMD. Let's see what, from a percentage metric, how much we are up on the day on AMD. Okay, only about just under 2% on the session on AMD, so nothing crazy, but trading really well. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor AMD and see what's going on with some of these semis. Sharif, what are you cooking up there?
I'm setting up a dip trade on Nuke because I want to get no. Like I said, that's a little ominous there. So we're going to set up a dip trade for the 10 exponential. It's doing a nice rounded bottom. Someone was asking me, is it a cup and handle? I said at least it's a rounded bottom. I'm talking about NUKK. This was the quadruple digit winner yesterday, over 1,000%. We're going to keep an eye on it. It's up over triple digits again today. It's above VWAP. It's above the 10, above the 20. It's above all the moving averages. Not at the high of the day. That's at 34 bucks. So I'm trying to shadow, or trying to front run, I should say, the 10 exponential moving average by getting a dip trade. Whether I get it or not, an entirely different story. And whether it continues to run up or not, that's also an entirely different story. There does seem to be an area of resistance around 30 bucks. I know the high of the day is 34, but when you have a better or more thorough look at the closing prints of most of these candles, they're mostly rejecting closing at or below 30 bucks. So I'll submit to you guys that there is likely resistance at $30. Whether or not that gets breached, again, a different story. QMDangCO went to 60 bucks, 59.47, but the vigor, Joseph, with which it got up there is basically the same vigor with which it's coming down. There's the mother of all topping tail candles right now showing up on the 5 on QMCO. But look, as I've said before with these small cap gappers, don't earmark the topping tail candle on a small cap gapper the same way you would on a large cap. They don't trade the same, and they don't mean the same thing, especially when it's above the 10 and above everything else and still printing highs. And the candle right now, subsequent to the topping tail candle on QMCO, has a higher low, at least for now. Here's what I mean by that. So look, this is an ugly, ugly candle. I'll agree with you guys on that one. But look at this. The low is higher than its predecessor, so that trend is still intact and it's moving back up into 57 bucks. Great look today for this name, QMCO. We're gonna have to pack our patience to see if we can get something again off the 10 exponential. I'm really interested in something like that. Crosshairs, there we go. So we're gonna keep tabs on that. Did I get filled yet on Nuke? No, not yet. So this one is still a little bit away from my entry price. Let's have a look.
That's a banger, man.
Which one? Yeah, that's KULR. It's coming back down now, Joseph. If it breaks 2, I'm gone. I won't add to this one, though, unless I'll add at 210. That's where the volume weighted average price, but we're still a little bit away from that right now. But back to Nuke, Joseph. I'm still waiting over here. Let me make sure that I have my order in the right area. I'm trying to shadow the 10 exponential. I may have to move up my order because the 10 exponential is a dynamic level, right? It's not static. So if you're going to base your order off the 10 exponential, then it behooves you to make sure that you're adjusting to that price as it moves up. So we're going to put now at 28.35. That's where we're going to throw the order out there. It's $1 south of where we are right now, but that's normal, especially with the way this bad boy moves. The problem now is coming with GameStop. Back down into 31 again, and so what? It's held up there before. Look at the pattern now. We just talked about higher lows. Let's talk about lower highs. So even though there's somebody buying GameStop at 31, and they have been since 10:40 this morning, here comes 31 again. And, we'll see if someone buys it up here. Maybe they do, but we're still putting in lower highs on GameStop. So I think this is a bad trade for me. Well, I'm going to pack my patience. I've already got my stop involved here with GameStop, but if it gives up VWAP, that's the end of the trade for me. I'm not going to DC8 into this. I'm keeping an eye on QMCO now because we've got a lower low and a lower high on the 5-minute. Here's the look. So I was waxing poetic, to use an Adair term, about the higher low with respect to this 1240 candle relative to the 1235 candle. Now we have a lower high and a lower low on this candle. This could be interesting. Let's see what it does. If it moves back into the volume weighted average price, I'd like to pick this up off a dip trade. It looks like it might halt here, 48.98. It could be a false halt at this level. Let's get this one out of the way and look to the trading screen over here. Yeah, 48.98. It may halt if it's another few seconds, and now we are halted to the downside. The first down halt on QMCO today. It's the third halt, 2 up, 1 down, halted 48.98. The theoretical auction price, eek, 46.29. That is not good. That could change. We're going to be halted for at least 5 minutes here. Let's see where the tap is once this is about to open up. Jose.
Yes, sir, my guy. Just reading something that Katina Man sent us. It was,
What did he send?
How
come
Yeah, check your thing there.
Bro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Insane. But yeah, guys, let's talk a little bit about the. Let's see. Let's talk about the Playmaker poll here, guys. We're putting in some nice numbers. We have about 1,400 votes thus far, so really nice work. Should I even drop the tab to see? Yeah, and sure enough, Sharif, can you guess which side the voters are on? I couldn't guess, that's for sure.
I put long.
Did you? Yeah.
Are you talking about the Playmaker?
The Playmaker poll? Yeah, the Playmaker poll, baby. Let's go.
I put long.
Yeah, I think we're about 75% long as of right now, as we usually are. So that is not an overly surprise, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Apple continuing to drive higher, testing those highs of days. Did we double top up here? I'm not sure, but I gotta monitor this GME trade because it's not really doing what I want it to. But let's talk a little bit about Apple in the meantime, because we are continuing to push higher, holding up those higher day levels as well too. So I really like Apple continuing to hold these levels. So let's see what happens. I think we do pull back into the volume weighted average price at some point, because we are slightly extended on that front. But again, no need to fight the trend. If it's going to continue to climb higher, it'll climb higher. But Sharif, I'm going to step out of this GME trade because it broke VWAP now, and I don't want any part of that. Buyers aren't stepping in, so the meme craze has, I guess for this time, has ended, so we don't want to participate in this thing anymore. See you later, GME, and I don't think I'll be trading this one right now unless some serious volume steps in or it gets that meme craze, or RC decides he wants to tweet something. So again, other than that, not something that I typically trade from a day-to-day basis. And I never traded it during the meme craze either, because I'm just like, it's not my cup of tea. So again, we'll just continue to monitor other things and we'll keep an eye on that, but I'm not overly interested. CLSK trading really well, pulling back off those highs. We had this ABCD pattern up here, but now pulling back a little bit, which is totally fine. I don't know if we're going to continue because we are really extended from that standpoint. Again, you want to wait. You don't want to buy all the way up there. You're going to want to wait for those pullbacks in order to get a look and then maybe participate in something that is extremely strong, and that has been CleanSpark on the session. Now, let's go back to AMD and see what's going on with that. We have now pulled back off the highs as well, too, putting in a higher day of around 127.75. Just trading under about 2% on the session, but giving back a lot of these gains from that volume spike that we had earlier on the news about some funding for some GPUs. So AMD and the semis are trading really well, and we'll talk about the king of all semis themselves, NVDA. And we're going to zoom in here and see what we're up to on a 5-minute, holding the volume weighted average price, putting that leg higher, but had the inability to make any new highs of days or test them really. So again, trading in this range, kind of like the overall market. The Qs are a choppy mess. So I think that 2 o'clock it's a big time frame, and I think a lot of people are waiting for it. And I mentioned time and time again that volatility will step in as soon as that announcement comes in, and it will probably just eliminate all this disorderly price action. So keep that in mind. 2 o'clock, unless you're buying or selling the highs on these range or buying the lows, then don't look for that breakout just yet. But just wait for 2 o'clock, because I'm sure something will happen. I don't think it's going to be a nothing burger on this report. The market is really extended and has been on an absolute run. So I don't know which way it's going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. So that's just what I think it's going to happen on that front. Sharif, what are you cooking up, my
We're
guy?
in Tesla. We're in TSLA, man. We took it off VWAP. I saw you guys yelling at it. A shout out to Adara, who's trading Tesla again. We got in. Where did we get in, Joseph? We got in 45s, excuse me, and then we just took out 75. Now I'm waiting at 82. It was a VWAP hold on the dang TSL. You see that, eh?
Yeah, and GME came back too.
Oh, I didn't get stopped out of that, did I?
No.
Tell me I didn't. Yes, I did it. Okay, so we're good there. Let that cook. Let's see what we're gonna do with Tesla now. We're getting resistance at 80. I'm waiting at 82s over here. Let this one cook. Andre, are we ready? Okay, guys, imagine trading with someone else's capital instead of your own. That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool. And this is how it works. First, you complete the evaluation program by meeting the profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the pool's capital, which allows you to trade with up to $260,000 in buying power. That's a lot. The best part is you keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm takes all the risk. It's the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or a professional trader. So go on and check out tradethepool.com, link in the description, or if you're more savvy, you can scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. Shout out to the great folks there at Trade the Dang Pool, and bang! We got that 82 print. Now we're holding one more beak wetter here for TSLA. Let's see if this one wants to curl back up. I've already put my stop below my entry, so not going to give anything back on this bad boy. Feel like I should have traded the actual thing, but you know, that's neither here nor there. We'll see if this one wants to continue up, off that volume weighted average price. One more beak wetter on that bad boy. All right, let's have a look at Nuke. We still didn't get filled on Nuke here, and I don't think I will get filled because, yeah, this one is kind of shadowing the 10 exponential. It's above it. I don't know if I like the look of this one's jib. It's not putting any higher lows anymore. In fact, it's a lower low on this one. So I'm canceling my order here on NUKK. Let's see what this one does. If it wants to set up a bit better, I'll definitely get back in, or I'll get into it. But right now, I'm not really liking it. So that's the look there. Let's see what else is going on. CDIO. Yeah, look at Nuke. See, it just moved up big there, but it wouldn't have filled me anyway. I mean, I can't chase this in the way that it's trading right now. And I was of the opinion it was going to put in a lower. Oh, it did. This candle just opened. That's why. Okay, I'm crazy. Yeah, so the candle prior to this one did put in a lower high, but I wouldn't have got filled either way on NUKK, so I won't feel too bad about that. But there does still seem to be selling at 30. Whether or not we end up breaking above it and holding above it, an entirely different story. Here it is again, 30. Whoa, there it goes, wow. 30, 60. Nuke, come on, I got to say it, is nuking to the upside, baby, 157%. This was a quadruple digit winner yesterday. It was up over 1,000%. Don't think it closed that way, but it was definitely there for a time. And here we go. We took 30, but again, same business. We didn't take out the level on a closing basis, and we don't have a closing print above that $30 level. We still have 4 more minutes till this 5-minute candle closes. So, and here it comes down below 30 again. Not surprised by that. I'm just going to let this one do its thing. By the way, I should tell you guys that QMCO is going to be at least a 10-minute halt. Okay, it could be longer. Both halts prior to that were up halts, they were 5-minute, and now this down halt, the first down halt on the day on QMCO is going to be at least 10 minutes. So we'll see how this one ends up cooking. Right now, halted still at 48.98. Let me just show you the tap. 48.98 is the halt level, and where the tap is 48.41. So that's not too bad, given that it's been halted almost 10 minutes. Usually, the longer it's halted, the more the theoretical auction price dips away from the halt level. Wow, Nuke.
Oh,
Nuke
wow,
just skyrocketed into 33.10. It's going to halt at 33.10 unless it's a false halt here. Let's see exactly what happens. Oh, man. I missed that. Well, I tried. I had a resting order. It didn't come into
I liked it there, too, man. And when you had the breakout, I was like, should I take that?
Oh, bro, look at that. It just rocketed up. It was a beautiful curl. I didn't get the print I wanted. Maybe that's on me. That's definitely on me. But hey, there it is. You got another big boy mover to the high side, $34 HOD. I'm assuming we're going to close here above 30 bucks because it's going to be a 5-minute halt, which means that we're going to open up at 12.57, which means this current 5-minute candle will close above 30. So we'll have to see how this one opens up again. But great move up here. Nuke to the high side. QMCO up big again. We've got a bunch of different trades on right now, all doing decent. GameStop, though, the only exception. Well, how much are we out of the money on that GameStop? Where are we long there, Joseph? 31.21. What are we printing here? 13s, yeah, so 14. So we're still out of the money on that. We'll have to see exactly what we get. Joseph Birch nuked us. Nuke 33 halted up. Yeah, man, I like this Joseph guy. He likes these small caps. Okay, Joseph, I like that. Missed the nuke, says HY. I've been yelling about it, bro. I've been yelling about it. I told you guys about it yesterday. What's going on with that hat, Katina, man? Oh, that one. Ooh.
Cash cow, baby.
That's the cash cow. I like that. He got the trade to pool one. He's got the cash cow.
Yeah, he's got the Palantir.
The Palantir. That's a nice hat.
Delivered by Alex himself, straight to.
Yeah.
He's like a snap coming out of the range.
Goes to the top 5 shareholders.
yeah.
Katina Man says the top 5 shareholders get a
It goes to board.
Palantir hat.
Goes to board
Shout out to
members.
Katina Man.
Goes to board members, no doubt. Yeah, it's a board member hat.
What are you looking at?
We're talking about Snap here, Sharif. A lot of people are talking about Snap here in the chat. Breaking those highs of days in these pre-market levels. Now trading at 1142 in change. So again, really nice look here, folks. We had volume really push through the volume-weighted average price there, and then we had this little consolidation phase, and then continued to the top side. I know there was some news on TikTok, I believe, and with Meta as well. So again, this might have something to do with that. Again, trading really well on. Okay. So I was just looking here at Snapchat from a daily perspective, just still trading in this range. So nothing to get too excited about. I don't know if I'm going to look to participate in this thing at all, but I will look to continue to monitor that one, no doubt, especially the way it's trading on the session. But one I'm really frustrated that I didn't get involved with here was TSLL. I know Sharif's in TSLL right now at 39.45, so you're about 20 cents in the money there, or 30 cents in the money, or 20 cents, sorry. Sick math there, Joe. But I mean, hey, let's continue to monitor this here because it's trading really well. So yeah, you are 30 cents in the money. I would like to get in where you are, Sharif, right? How it held VWAP there and then continue to push a little bit higher. But do we go and test this high a day? I'm not too sure. As you can see, that volume is declining as we are somewhat advancing in price. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. If we get any form of pullback there, I do like that indecision candle on the 5-minute, and we've been playing those all day. So if we do get a pullback and then we hold that level on TSLL, I'm going to look to get involved in that one for sure. There's no doubt about that. But I mentioned this on the Qs, and this is just a typical FOMC day in the overall market. Like, look at this. We're essentially going nowhere, really going to the east side. I can't even say south or northeast there. It's just directly east. So again, wait for that 2 o'clock time frame to hit, and then sure enough, you'll see a specific direction that the market is going to decide that it wants to go. But again, don't force anything, don't anticipate. Let the market tell you when it's time to participate, all right? But guys, we got about 4 minutes left. 1,500 votes so far on our Playmaker poll here. So again, looking forward to that one. Let's pull it up, our previous data from yesterday as well too. Did I log it? No, I didn't, but that's okay. We're gonna log it. We took a little bit of a small L on this one. It was 46 bucks if I'm correct. So yeah, we're going to take a nice little hit on there, but we're still positive on this. I really want us to go northeast on this front. So again, let's see if today's poll is going to bring us that way, because I know come 2 o'clock, we're going to definitely know what's going to happen. But we'll be out of that trade by then anyways. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor this. So I'm going to get involved here on TSLL, Sharif. I don't know if we're going to get that pullback that I'm looking for, but yeah, boom, we're in it now. Let's see if we hold these levels and go and test those potential higher days.
Okay, so a couple of things, Joseph. QMCO, it was a 10-minute halt, or I think, and now it's going to halt to the high side. And there it is, halted again to the high side. So it dipped in to 41 high 90s, or so it seems, yep. 41, oh, bro, not even 41 high 50s, more like it. so distorted is the chart because of the Y price action, but it's halted again, 45.82. It got a quick buy, it looks like, when it hit the 20 exponential moving average, and now we're kind of caught in between the 10 and the 20, with the 10 being at 46.22. So a little bit higher, about 40 pennies higher than where we're trading right now on QMCO. Nuke also opened. They were both halted. Nuke high day 34. Let's see what it does with 30. We yapped and yapped and yapped about how $30 was a level of resistance. Does it flip now and act as support? I'll submit to you, so far so good. 32 and change, 32 and a third, 32 and 2/3. Here comes 33. There goes 33. This thing's a dang rocket ship. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Here we go with 34 again, man. These small cap gappers are in vogue, baby. 34.65. Here goes $35 on Nuke. That took out the high of the day. Sellers at 35. The whole dollar's holding us back. That's over with, Joseph. 35 and a third.
Dang.
I feel like an auctioneer, baby. I used to do this all the time. I can do it again. And
Oh, wow. Yeah.
no, remember I used to do this because the small cap gappers were always running, so I'd constantly be saying the price like an actual auctioneer. But yeah, there it is, man. I mean, there is a lot to talk about right now. Wow, moving up here, but coming back down into that 34, 33, man, this is just so volatile. What's the support level here? I see possible support at 32.5. That's where the closing prints kind of topped out at. Hard to see, hard to say. It's just, it's a tough one, Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from this one unless it sets up a little bit differently. It's going to have to come into that $30 area, whatever. It's like chasing QMCO at the highs. That's just not my game. I need to get a pullback. So we'll see exactly how this one trades. It's up 200% now and more, 205. It's taking out the highs. Here comes 37. Seller at 37 probably gets taken out as well.
Wow.
Just like that seller at 36 got taken out. 37 again, and there it goes, Joseph. 215. This is really going, bro. The Katina man slapping his face there because the excitement.
I mean, your props up. He's just slapping. Jeez.
Unreal, bro.
Winners,
Nuke is
man.
getting nuked to the high side, baby. 51,
Wow.
37, 51. Hey, Max is back. What's up, Max?
Max. Max
There
is
it
long
goes.
nuke.
There it go. Wow, man, this is awfully exciting. Did you see GameStop?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Uncle
yeah,
Warren's
yeah, yeah,
calling.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't
Uncle
like
Warren.
the small cap gappers, Uncle Warren. Get out of here, man. You don't even. I told him, bro. Once he sold Apple, I was disappointed, Katina, man. There he
Everybody's
is.
calling here. What do you want, Warren?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
Listen,
Yeah,
a lot of
listen.
people were telling me to sell Apple when you were selling. I didn't sell, and I'm kind of happy I did. Bye.
Oh,
All right.
Kathy's now calling. We can't. Can we merge these calls here? Everybody's calling here. Go. What's JP doing? Get him in on the call as well too.
the reversion
JP,
man?
yeah, the JP. Oh, there he is. JP. He's calling. We don't even know what to
What's
do
up,
here.
Jerome?
Don't cut, please. Don't cut. Don't cut. We beg you. The dual
Oh, man,
mandate
we're
is in
having a good
full
time,
effect,
baby.
baby. Yeah. It failed. Oh, why did I get?
Are you
what?
watching GameStop?
Dude, I'm
Are
out
you
of game.
watching?
I'm out of
No, you're not out of
GameStop. I
it. You're
told
not
you I
out
was
of it,
out of it. I
bro.
told you, bro. We broke VWAP. I'm getting
Oh,
out.
Joseph,
And sure
it was
enough,
$31.
yeah,
Bang! There we
bang.
take out GameStop
It's
again,
insane.
Joseph. There it goes, 31.40. We take out some there. We've got no beak wetters. No, we do. That's a lie. We're setting up now 31.49 on GameStop. Where am I long on this now? We're
Yeah,
long
31.19.
So decent. We got a DCA. That's
Wow,
right, Joseph.
man.
So we'll see if this one wants to take out the top.
Wow.
GameStop. What's up? Yes, sir. You want to get?
Yeah, I got that, baby.
All right, we got to pay some bills, baby, and so I can catch my breath a little bit over here. Woo! Oh, the pool in the chat.
Oh, the pool. Oh, the
Yes,
pool.
absolutely.
Yeah, the pool.
Yeah,
baby.
you can end it. Let's have a look
Yeah.
first before you end it.
We already know which
Andre.
way it is.
We got a lot of votes here.
Yeah, we got a lot of
Cole killed it today.
1,600 votes there on that front, folks.
And you know how it's going to end up, Joseph.
Yeah, we know which way
Every
we're
day
going.
it's been long,
Every
right?
day it's been long.
And today was my side
yeah,
margin.
you know what I mean? And look at our
75.
equity curve, our funky looking equity curve there that we got going on, guys. All right, it's trade number 9. Sharif,
Yes, sir.
you know what time it is, baby?
Yes, it is. I do know what time it is.
All right.
Allow me a moment to set up my
Okay.
SPY chart
All right.
over here so we can do everything appropriately.
Let's go.
Let's go into the 5-minute on the SPY, guys.
Beautiful.
In case you don't know what we're doing the Playmaker poll, baby. Every day at 1 o'clock, we enter a SPY long. We put a beak wetter $2 above the
Yeah.
entry and a stop loss $1 below the entry. We're going to do it every day, and we're going to see how it does. All right, Joseph.
All right, let's
the
go.
SPY.
Entry price.
All right, 1 second, because I don't have it up. SPY.
All right.
Here we go. 605.36.
605.36, baby. Let's
So
go.
we've got 606.36 as our out.
606.36. Oh, let me zoom up here. 606 is our 604 is our okay.
Our beak weather 606.36, and our stop is 604.36.
Okay, I'm lost here now. 604, it shouldn't be this complicated. All right,
All good.
beautiful.
604.36.
There we go, and our target price is 607.
Oh,
We're looking for
607.
we're looking for the 2 to 1 there. All right, yeah, there we go. That's where we got confused. 36. Guys, I'm really liking this, and this is what you want to do kind of if you're just starting out or been involved in trading for a little while. You want to be able to collect sample sets, right?
Yeah, man.
And this is how you collect data to see if it's profitable or not, all right? We're only about 9 trades in. We're really systematic on this front, but when you have the ability to collect data like this over large periods of time and with kind of like different strategies, you're going to get a lot more data. And with that data, you're going to be able to determine if you're profitable or not. So right now, Sharif, through 8 trades, entering our 9th trade, this strategy is essentially profitable, right? So
Crazy.
8 trades, right? And it's essentially kind of looking at it, I'm looking at it kind of like an algorithm, right? We're in at 1 o'clock and we're out at 1:55. Regardless of the situation, that's just, we're staying like an algo, we're staying like a computer, in at this time, out at that time. And as of right now, through 8 trades, it is a technically profitable strategy. So I'm liking this for a lot. I would like to see when we gather a lot more data, it's going to be wicked. But as of right now, we're going to send it off to Adair, folks. Wow.
Here is take a look at some of these crypto names here at 1 p.m., just 1 hour until the FOMC meeting, the moment we've all been waiting for today. But before we get into a pretty exciting segment I'm very excited for, actually, really quickly want to talk about SQ, which got a positive note here from Bernstein this morning. They actually called it their top pick of 2025. Now, why this is related to crypto is because they actually said that they do, one of their biggest things here for crypto is they think their venture into Bitcoin mining hardware is actually an underappreciated factor of the stock and what the company does that could actually significantly contribute to medium and long-term operating growth. So that's really interesting to note here. SQ, bullishness here from Bernstein in large part because of its crypto contribution. Currently though, SQ selling off here, a bit of an umbrella pattern down about 1.2% on the day. Now here, I want to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum heading into the FOMC meeting. We just actually published a post here on the TTV Research account, Trader TV Research. Basically, what I did was I took a look at the performance of Bitcoin and Ethereum every day of the FOMC meetings in 2024. So on average here, our performance of Bitcoin was it would be up by 0.94%. Ethereum, on average, up 2.2% after these FOMC meetings. So Ethereum generally reacts, I found, a little bit more intensely to the upside than Bitcoin when we have these FOMC meetings. Their best day for both was March 20th, 2024. Heading into this meeting, though, Bitcoin's down about 1.37% of the day. Ethereum's down about 0.38% in the day. Why I wanted to look at this is because, as Sean mentioned earlier, Ethereum and Bitcoin can have a pretty intense reaction to these FOMC meetings. So be aware here. Last meeting, Ethereum actually gained 6.36% on the day. So watch out for these names here. Just a quick historical look at the relationship between the FOMC meetings and crypto. Back to you.
Appreciate that, Adara. Thank you very much. I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out to 4XAU. He's printing up a storm on GameStop. He kept me committed. He's like, bro, put that stop below 31. Shout out to 4XDang. AU, shout out to you, my man, keeping me honest. And you know, obviously, four eyes? Yeah, 4 eyes better than 2, obviously.
4 eyes better
I got caught up there, Joseph.
I mean, well, I feel like a little lonely right now because I got out and you guys are gelling now and I'm sitting on the sidelines like wanting to participate with you guys, but that's okay. It happens from time to time. Call it what you will, man. Call it what you will. But let's see what TSLA is up to here, folks. I'm really curious to see if we can continue. I do like this indecision print, and it was the exact same thing on GME, and that's why I'm kind of kicking myself here because it's like, no. Okay, that's not it. Let me pull up GME, and I'm like, why? Because that setup has such high conviction, and I should have been involved in it. I should have just held a little bit because it was just essentially a fake out here. And like, look at that. I just sell the bottom, and then it doesn't even look back from that front. So yeah, a little bit early, quick to pull the trigger there. on GME. Sharif and Forex AU are absolutely killing it on that front. So yeah, I'm missing out on that one. So they left the party without me, and I wasn't invited. Yeah. So
That's not true.
Yeah,
We invited you, Joseph.
They invited me. I said no. There's better parties, and then sure enough, they're in the one that's roaring. No kitty.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, guys, let's see what's going on with this market. The Qs are slowly starting to pick up a bit here, but we do have our what's it, playmaker poll up. So we are in the SPY. Let's take a look at the SPY here and see what the SPY is up to. Still holding VWAP really well. And I like this, so I think we can continue to hold. But again, 2 o'clock is going to be the fire of that one, I think. So again, yeah, nice look there on GME. Sharif pulling back a little bit now. NVDA going to go and test these highs a day, so missed out on this one again too. That's okay, happens sometimes. 136.67-ish high of day. Are we going to go and test that? I think so. I think we're up over 4% on the session. I think we'll continue on that path, Sharif.
All right, man. I want to shout out Patrick Riley. Goes, wish I still had those nuke shares at 369. I'm like, don't lament it. Obviously, you can never know. And here's why I like it. Made money, sold at 15, 16, and 17. So can't be mad. Money was made and not lost. There you go, my man. You printed up multiple storms on that, and you're going to get the storm animation as well because you deserve it. That's a big boy win. Shout out to you. Great trade. Happy for you. Couldn't be happier, obviously. I hope all the viewers print up storms. That is kind of why we're here. We're not here to watch ourselves trade. Oh, hello, Fabian. Sorry, I got a lot of very excited. I body checked it. Sometimes I hit it when I'm walking in the little alleyway there. So that's the Chilean Nightmare is fixing the camera. If I could show the screen though, Andre, because Nuke is going to halt again, it looks like here. What? 264%. This is blowing through $44, or sorry, it's about to blow through $44. Seller here at 44. This, the same 5-minute candle, okay? The same 5-minute candle. $44 high, $35 low. Can you save up $9, guys, in the same 5-minute candle? Volatility Central. Be careful when you're trading these. Obviously, try to get them off key areas of technical support. And for goodness sake, please use stops. If they're not going to be hard stops, if they're going to be mental stops, make sure that you stick to the rules, right? And that you're not going to DCA when you should be stopping out. Here we go. Big drop down. Look at that. From $44, here comes $37. Blood right now. But even though it dipped into 37, it's still a higher low, higher than that 35 low that we put in over here. I know you can't see it, but there's a candle wick right there. So this candle wick a little bit higher than its predecessor. So the uptrend still intact right now, or so it seems, here on NUKK. Haven't traded this one today. Traded it a bunch yesterday when it was up 1,000%. Well, look, it's not setting up in the way that I like. It's obviously very parabolic to the high side, but I got to weasel in somehow, and right now I don't have a way, so I'm steering clear of this one. QMCO is still going, guys. By the way, where's my QMCO screen? Oh, it's with TSLL. Here we go, QMCO. Now it's becoming less parabolic, but still in an uptrend. So you're putting in higher lows and higher highs on every successive 5-minute candle. You have that $50 level resistance with which to deal, but we're already above it. The spread is insane. It's $1 on this. I saw 51.74 and 50.60 for bid. So the spread's insane. You're going to have to account for that when you're trading it. I would submit to you, use resting orders for your profit takers because it doesn't typically spend that long in any one price zone. So, when it just wicks up there quickly, if you have a resting order, you get filled and you don't have to be old man hands can't hang like me. In any event, this one's really going. So QMCO, NUKK, they're both banging up to the high side. Oh, GameStop's moving again, man. Joseph. Come on, here we go. Bang! We'll take out more here on GameStonk. Pumped about this. Man. Here we go. It's going to the high side. Shout out to 4X Dang AU. And I've only got one more beak wetter on this, Joseph. We're long 12s. We're printing 68s right now on GameStop. Did we take out the high?
At least you have a beak wetter, though. You know what I mean?
Bro. What's happening?
Dwelling on that one a little bit.
Don't even.
No.
So good move right now for GameStop, 3170 HOD. I'm letting this one cook. I've only got one more out, just like TSLL. We're going to let this one cook and come what may. I've been holding TSLL for a hot minute because it's still above VWAP, despite the fact that it keeps putting in lower highs and lower lows. On TSLL, I've already put my stop right below my entry, so not going to give back anything on that. And I'm going to do the same thing here with GameStop. Go! What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm just watching GME print up you guys multiple storms. That's it. No, I'm only joking on that one, guys. It happens. There's plenty of days. The market will be going on much longer than I will be alive, so there will be plenty of days where you miss out on things, and then there'll be plenty of days where you can participate on them. But PLRZ, let's take a look at this one. Nick W in the chat asked me to take a look. As you can see, we're kind of forming that flaggish pattern here. Definitive support levels there on 292. As of right now, the intraday price action doesn't look all that pretty. You had a nice opening drive, which is fantastic on that front. But since then, it's been a little bit of a choppy mess, especially going to the southeast there. So not something I would necessarily be looking to get involved in. Poly Rising Limited. But again, if you're in from earlier in the session or even in the pre-market hours, then you're sitting pretty. But as of right now, not something that I would be looking to get necessarily involved in, and that's just my opinion, guys. So yeah, let's take a look at NVDA. Starting to recover, trading really nicely on the session. Going to test these highs of days. I think since we broke this key resistance level at 135.85, then I do think that we can go and test 136.72 as well too, which is the high of day. So yeah, that's the look on NVDA. Tesla's starting to pull back in. I'm hoping that it can hold view up. Otherwise, we're going to have to punch out of TSLL on that front. But that's okay, because we will always find another trade, as I previously mentioned. So let's pull up TSLL and see what's going on with this one here, folks. Yeah, we're in all right. I'm expecting this candle to kind of hold its level. So that'll put us around that 39.30 mark, which is totally fine. If we breach that, I'm going to get out. So hopefully I don't punch the bottoms like I did with GME. But if that's the case, then not gonna, we don't cry over spilt milk over here. So again, let's continue to monitor things. SPY trade looking a little tough, but if we break these support levels, then maybe there's gonna be some more sell side on that. 2 o'clock is that number that we are looking for. We only have 45 minutes or so until that time frame, but we are going to be sending it a little earlier to Sean and Neil, because around 150-ish or so, we're going to be sending it to them, and they're going to be partaking in that FOMC print, which I think is going to bring a lot of volatility to the market. Now, guys, let me know in the chat what you guys are looking at. I was actually looking at the MU options chain, because they do report after the bell as well too. So expect the regular. We got a lot of open interest around the 115, 120 mark for the call side, and then let's see where we got the most open interest on the put side, and that's that $95 price target there, that 95 strike. Sitting at, let's see the delta here on that strike as well too, about 0.13. So again, looking at that strike on MU, that's where you're going to get the most open interest on the put side, guys. And then going down a little bit, you've got 90, about 85. Sorry, I apologize for that. 85 is going to be your next largest section of open interest, guys. So yeah, those are my looks. Let's see what MU brings, especially after the bell. I like MU. Since we're talking about it, let's pull it up from a technical perspective and see what's going on with this, because I like seeing what the earnings are. Ooh, wow. Yeah, ugly. You can get chopped up in that one. There's no doubt about that. And we have been trading on a range if we zoom out here, guys, from a daily perspective. So you can see that we're consolidating within this 95.80 with a key resistance level, Sharif, around 115.41 here on MU. You can see those definitive touches time and time again. So with this report, which side are we going to break through? And I'm going to aim towards the top side just because of where we're sitting right now on the daily. Could I be wrong? 1,000%. But look how many touches we have here. 1, 2, 3, almost to the penny. So So if we go and attempt that touch one more time, I do think that we break through, brother.
That's
no
a
doubt.
great call out there,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I didn't really notice that was whiffling and waffling
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I wonder if that's an accumulation, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Maybe.
I'll read a little bit of the report that I had this morning about Micron, because I had to do a little bit of research on it for the morning, because Adara threw it onto the watch list. And there is basically disagreement right now amongst analysts. I want to show my screen, if possible, over here, Andre. So here's kind of what I see. I see contradictions. So Wedbush believes Micron's Q1 results and guidance could meet or exceed expectations due to what they say are favorable pricing trends and improved product mix. Okay, so that sounds bullish. But then when you look at the challenges for them, so they're like basically NAND and DRAM pricing deteriorated significantly in November. Hold on, I thought you said there was good pricing in September. So why are you mentioning September if they're significantly dropped in November? There's also inventory reductions by OEMs. They're not storing it because we don't have a PC cycle that's booming right now. That COVID PC cycle still holding. The price cuts from hyperscale customers, delays in Blackwell projects, obviously, because a lot of DRAM is going to be shipped with Blackwell because they come in that computer package. So it's interesting here. And now they're positing a mid-2025 rebound expected. That's what they're saying. So normalization of the inventory levels with OEMs by Q1 or Q2 of 25 may... The Katina man is long Micron. Basically saying that normalization trends should happen by Q1 or Q2. They're also saying increased shipments of Blackwell when it does ship could also boost the demand, and the hyperscaler spending expected to continue throughout to 2025. That's something that the big kahunas and I were talking about this morning. We were talking about, Neil and I and Sean and I were talking about, the hyperscalers having to buy constantly these new AI chips to stay ahead of the game. We all know there's different types of chips. There's inference chips, there's training chips, and you constantly have to be upgrading that whole thing. So does the hyperscale spending end just because they build up the data centers? Maybe from a Caterpillar's perspective, yeah, it ends because you're not going to keep building out the same data centers, but within those data centers, you upgrade the computers that are involved. And so NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron, they're all going to stand to benefit if that cycle continues. I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. Because, that's something that we always think about. And, we share ideas around here, Joseph. I want to mention that I'm a little disappointed with my TSLL, out over here. I did put it right at my entry.
It's my turn.
With my entry. But this was the last one, Joseph. But we're still putting in lower highs up here. So maybe I'm not too disappointed. What I'm going to do is if we get above that $40.10 area, I'm all eyes and ears, okay? So I'm taking off, who am I going to take off over here? I got to take off somebody. PLRZ, we're going to take that off. We're going to put TSLL on the side, and I'm going to put an alert for the breach of that $40.10 area. That's an area crest for me. And if we get above there, I want to know about it so that I can weasel into the trade. So I'm going to put it a little bit ahead of that level so I can be made aware of it. So TSLL, I have absolutely no qualms about getting back into that. Okay, KULR took out the high of the day. It's 64 now. I'm still waiting at 69. You guys know where I'm waiting, man. Don't even ask.
Don't even ask the guy, man.
I'm losing it. In any event, I'm waiting here on KULR at 69s. I've got one more out on this bad boy, and then we're all done there. GameStop, Joseph, coming back in, though, right back into that 31.25, which is yesterday's closing print. That 31.25 level on GameStop has been intraday support and resistance at different times, and it was yesterday's closing print. So now we're long 12s. I'm going to move up my stop to account for, again, I think I'm going to leave it at $31, Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at 31 because that is a support level. The market doesn't care where I got in, right? The market cares about the support and resistance levels that have been proven themselves on the day. So I'm going to leave my out exactly where it is. If it wants to come back down to 31, test it again, that's fine. It's done that a bunch of times today. So we'll see exactly what the situation is there. Nick Dub. structuring trades on 69, but funny enough, this market loves those numbers along with 420. I know, man. I know. Elon even chimed in about it, right? 469. When Tesla hit 469, he was pumped about that. He was also pumped about 420. He called it inevitable, right?
Inevitable.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Guys, Nuke is halted yet again to the upside. Oh no, I thought it was halt. It was a false halt. 48.70. I thought it was going to halt at 48.70. I was wrong. It was a false halt, but it's continuing to go, guys. Now Nuke up 300%. In addition, I don't know what it closed out at yesterday, percentage-wise, but it was up over 1,000% at the highs. It's now 310%. Here comes that high again, 48.73. There it goes again. Here comes 49. Is this going to do a 50 bump as well, like QMCO? Looks like we're going to halt here at 48.99. If we hang out here for a few more seconds, we'll have to wait. It's going to be there for 10 seconds or so. Nope, false halt again. 49.85 now. HOD still going here. The algo's having a field day with Nuke, just like they did yesterday. Good time to be alive.
Yeah, it's a great time to be. Actually, it's a great time to be in the markets. There's no doubt about that, Shreve. And I just want to talk about a couple of things that are flying right now. We got Meta starting to pick up a little steam. Palantir going to test. This is why I love the chat, because everybody, there's so many eyes, and they just start naming things out, and you can't help but to look. And sure enough, we have Palantir pushing that 77 and change mark, 77.33 to be exact right now, going to test that high of day. Are we going to break it? As of right now, it's looking like we might. A nice consolidation phase here, and then we just break higher. Beautiful looks there on PLTR. I'm not going to play this high day break because there's no momentum on that front, but really good look. But there is some momentum in Meta here. A little too expensive for my liking. Come on, Mark, just cut the stock, please. Yeah, split it, man, please. Okay, but yeah, anyways, going to test the high days, putting in a new high day. 626 is the print on Meta, looking really good there. These mega caps are flying. NVDA continuing to the top side. I thought Apple was going to go make another all-time high on the session, hovering around that 253.94, so just under 254 on the session with Apple, trading phenomenal the past little bit. And you guys heard my thesis on this thing. So many inflows coming into the market. And sure enough, Apple is going to partake in that. So guys, really good look on some of these mega caps. But again, we need this market to widen, I think, a little bit in order for us to continue on the path that we are. But I mean, fantastic stuff. You can't complain. And it's actually crazy that it's like my top holdings are iBit, Tesla, Google, and Apple. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that one. Meta continuing to move to the top side. Really enjoying that. NVDA going to go and test the high a day. So again, man, phenomenal stuff. Let's pull out some NVDA. Tesla's starting to pull back a little bit, but that's okay because NVDA will save the day. Yeah, exactly. There we go. I might go against Neil and Adara there on it's a little rap battles, but I mean, hey. But yeah, guys, I think 4.5% on the session. Let's see if we get that. I think we only got about just under 35 minutes. Until that 2 o'clock comes, that 2 o'clock target, where they're going to announce either a pause or a cut. I don't think there's going to be any form of a hike there. I do think it's going to be a 25 basis point cut, which is totally fine. And then BA, yes, this is something that I wanted to talk about because let's talk about a turnaround here on BA. This thing was beaten to a pulp for such an extended period of time. Everybody had them down in the dumps, but sure enough, we're slowly starting to recover. Oh, we got the new poll up there, Shreve. Did you hit that?
Right
yeah, all right. We like this one. Okay, you hit the pump right away. Hey, I like this one. I'm going to hit the pump too because, hey, you can't go against the man who actually hits the gym for a while. So we got to follow that. Hey, exactly, get a nice pump in there. But yeah, Boeing really recovering, guys.
I smashed 300 push-ups this morning.
Really?
In half an hour.
Why do you guys?
Sit-ups? Oh, sorry, not sit-ups. Crunches. I was doing them in bulks of 25.
Oh, I thought you said push-ups too?
Yeah, push-ups and sit-ups. Super set. I didn't actually rest. So 25 push-ups, right into 25 crunches, right into 25, and I hit 300. Done in half an hour. Less than half an hour, actually. Because it takes me about 10 minutes to get out of bed. So I get out of bed at 5.
and goes straight to the
6 or 7 minutes.
Walks to the
bro.
walks to
But
the
I gotta throw on the
coffee
headphones
machine.
right
Yeah,
away,
you gotta get
right?
through on
Like,
that.
there's
So do
otherwise.
you listen to pods or do you listen to music?
No,
when you're doing
that's
this?
in the morning. I
That's
listen
in
to the pod on the drive down.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
There's a
well.
pod called The Canadian Investor.
Yeah,
It's the
you're telling
only
me
dose
about
of Canadian economic news I
That-
get,
that you
Joseph,
get.
because I don't put on BNN Bloomberg, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I always feel like I'm a little out of touch.
Well, I thought I had a good pump yesterday, but now you're up at 5 a.m. My girlfriend's up at 5 a.m. working out, and I'm over here dreaming away while these guys are crushing push-ups and pull-ups. There's no doubt about that. So it looks like I'm going to have to step my game up on that front. Yeah, well.
Dale Rosehart, I smashed 6 beers. Get it, Dale.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's my man.
Yeah, but
Indeed doesn't believe me. Wow, you believe me or not, man?
I believe
All
him,
good,
but I
bro.
mean, the 6 beers is what we would like to call the breakfast of champions.
Swear to you, bro.
Yeah, the breakfast of champions. While you were away, Sharif, last time, I said that maybe you and I were going to do a push-up competition. Neil said I didn't want any of that smoke. I agreed, and now I'm going to even confirm a little more. Yeah.
The only reason I've been doing these push-ups, Joseph, because I know that competition's coming.
Oh,
That's
so you're
the only
preparing.
reason, Joseph.
Uh-oh.
That's the only reason I
This
started
guy.
doing those push-ups for exactly
All
that.
right. I'm going to have to up the dose on creatine. There's no doubt about that. You don't.
I gotta get back on that.
Yeah.
It's good for the noggin as well.
Is it good for
Have you heard
what?
about this?
No,
Yeah,
no,
man.
I
The
never heard
most
about that.
studied supplement ever. Apparently, it's good for everything. But when I do it, I cycle 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off for the liver.
Nice.
Right. That's really the only
that's
reason
good
there.
stuff. That's good stuff there. Let's see what we got. Some people.
We got a
saying-
super chat,
Super
man.
chat. Yeah, man. Okay. Do you want to cover this?
Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
all right.
Rookie Cooker. $5 super chat, my man. Thank you very much. Whenever you guys get a chance, can you explain how LIFO can help with avoiding wash sales in a day trading? Brother, I have no idea about that. I would love to help you. Maybe I'll pass over this exact message to the big kahunas that can actually help you with that during the afternoon show. They'll obviously be covering FOMC, but I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to send it to Neil in the message. Hopefully he can help you with that, but I'm not going to answer if I can't give you a sound answer. So I am sorry, but thank you very much for the super chat. I don't even know what FIFO and LIFO are. So I do apologize. I'm sorry. Guys, here we go again with Nuke. It's going to halt. 56.67. Here we go. Unless it's going to be a false halt. Looks like it might be false halty here. A few more seconds. No, that's it. It's over. It's halted again. 377% this time. This one keeps on going to the high side. Great day for these small cap gappers. Yeah, I love looking at them. I love trading them. This has been a dang rocket ship on the day. It did defend $50. It took out $50 like it meant nothing. I've got no entry on it. I mean, that's kind of how that is there. So a bit of a tougher look there. TSLA coming back into VWAP. Let's see some of the other trades that we have on GameStop. Okay, so it's coming back into my level here on GameStop. We're long at 12s. It's coming back into 17s. How many shares do I have left on this? Oh, yeah, we only got one more out on GameStop anyway, so come what may here. If it stops me out, it stops me out through 31, but I'm going to keep my eye on this one. If it wants to move back up and take out that 3170 HOD, all the better. I should let you know, though, that 3170 might be a tough road to break through because we've double topped there. So this candle right at 1040 got all the way up into 3170. This one over here couldn't quite make it up to 70, got into 69s. But hey, it's essentially a double top. They don't have to be at the same level. Whether or not we end up selling off or whether or not we're stuck in a range with VWAP being the south side and 3170 being the north side, we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to hold on to find out. Exactly. We shall find out by the end of the day, but we do have a dare at the big desk.
We're going to take a look at this U.S. dollar just 15 minutes ahead of the throw. We're going to be starting the afternoon show a little bit early at 1:45 p.m. in time for the FOMC meeting. So let's take a look at the U.S. dollar. Still in that slightly rounded bottom pattern with a bit of a bull flag here on the DXY and the daily chart. Now let's take a look, though, here at the CME FedWatch tool once again for probably maybe the last time until the meeting. 98.6% expecting a 25 basis point cut versus 1.4% expecting no change in the rates. It's interesting, as mentioned earlier, this was around 99.1% as of Monday, so cooling off a little bit as of yesterday, and I'll zoom in because I really like this feature of the CME FedWatch tool where you can see the changes here. So 98.0%, so 98% as of yesterday, thought we're going to get a 25 basis point cut. 97.5% as of a week ago, so these odds are slowly tightening. As of a month ago, November 18th, it was a 58.7% chance of a 25 basis point cut. So what you can see here is gradually tightening odds of us getting that cut. We're going to have to wait and see, though. As mentioned earlier, the early futures for the January 2025 rate meeting are suggesting we're not going to get a cut. That's also what Goldman Sachs analysts said this morning. So we're going to have to see. January cut is looking less and less likely. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and join us every day, especially join us for that FOMC meeting and Fed Chair Jerome Powell at 2:30. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. I should let you know that QUBT breaking out again. Here we go. Really respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It's not at the high of the day quite yet. It's about 50 pennies removed off that high, but it's got a very predictable, very healthy higher low situation going on. It does have wide range per candle at times. Not every candle, though, ends up being that way. So I would say shadow the 10 exponential if you're really looking at trading this. 42%, and we should show you the daily on this. This is the real deal. This was trading at $1 right in that October, all the way up until the 13th. I don't know what happened on the 13th. Again, you know, I have no proof, obviously, of this, but it seems awfully convenient that these quantum stocks started moving without reason right 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half before Google announced Willow. So maybe somebody knew something, because I was looking for reasons why these quantum names were running before Google announced that whole thing with Willow. So yeah, there's nothing you can really do about that. We can look at it ex post facto, but this is kind of the look right now on the daily for QUBT. I mean, it's parabolic, and it's not giving anything up. And these small cap gappers, if you've seen the charts on these small cap gappers, oftentimes they have these big wicking days where the high is like way higher than the closing print. You'll see the majority of the candle is a wick rather than the body. You're not seeing that here. We're closing out at the highs almost every time, except for obviously this consolidation zone, which ended up being quite good. But yeah, interesting here for QUBT. It's taken 24 bucks. As I mentioned, 24.48 HOD. Very respectful of the 10 exponential on the 5. We'll keep tabs on that one, Joseph. NUKK still halted at that 56.67. Tesla, and by extension of that, TSLL still, holding above that volume weighted average price. We still have lower highs, with that flat bottom being VWAP on TSLL. It's about 39 1/5, 39 1/4. It's putting in lower highs, as I mentioned. I put my alert at around $40.07 to account for this candle here at 12.35. If it makes a newer high above that candle, I'd like to be able to get in. You know, a cursory view will show you maybe this looks awfully head and shoulder-ish, with that VWAP area being the neckline break. We'll have to see if that manifests. TSLL, not TSLA, is down 1 2/3. So keeping tabs on that. Let's flip back to the 5 on this one. See what else is going on over here. Yeah, not much for me. I mean, my positions are all decent, but not really doing anything. Oh, QUBT took out the high. Okay, there it is. Now 24.80. QUBT took out that high at around 50. 80 is now the high day, 45.80. This one's really getting a nice move up. Volume stepping in as well on QUBT. This candle here that closed out at 130 had volume of around 2.5 million shares. So that's quite a bit here for a $24 name. So you're getting that kind of strength. NUKK halted down 51.03, still well above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Keep your eye out on that one. I've got really nothing else other than the ones I've got on here. CDIO has been boring me to death. We're about 4 pennies out of the money. But GameStop holding above that level again at 31.10, trying to move back into the upside, Joseph.
Yes, sir. I mean, the NVDA putting in the session that I think a lot of it's been longing for the past little while. I mentioned this time and time again. We had all the Mag 7 peers continuously making all-time highs. It seemed to be day after day, and NVDA was the one selling, kind of holding the overall market back a little bit, if you even want to call it that. But now it's looking like we're starting to participate a little bit better, up about 4.5% on the session, continuing to move to the northeast is exactly what we want to see from this stock. I do think, I'm not going to say it's a complete turnaround because there's nothing from a volume standpoint that is indicating like, hey, we're not going to look back. But I mean, this stock, you can't count Jensen out. You can't count this company out. I do think that it's going to continue to move to the northeast, especially the way we rejected and that daily candle print that I mentioned for the past 2 days. We got that print. So that's something really exciting for NVDA because I think it's going to help the overall market continue to move. And Apple still trading higher. Let's zoom in a little bit here, guys. Consolidating around this in between 253s and 254. Okay, so during this announcement, during this FOMC print, you're going to see this go in one direction. Obviously, if it goes north, it's going to create new all-time highs. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. And again, we talked about this yesterday. I think around the $270 price target is when you're going to see that $4 trillion market cap, the first of its kind. And I think it's going to happen eventually soon. So again, we're going to continue to hold that. But guys, it's time to pay some bills. E-Signal. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game, customize and analyze markets faster your way. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up-to-the-second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description, folks. It's that simple. Everything's done on our phone these days, Sharif. Scan the QR code.
And we're going to be exchanging. Well, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not going to be using trade ideas anymore.
No, you're done with
No, I'm going to be using E-Signal from now on. So anytime we're looking for anything, Joseph, we're going to be weaseling E-Signal down on the bottom.
We're going to E-Sig it up.
Yeah. There's a great super chat in here. $5. Shout out to the OG Rory Alderson. I think this is more down your alley. I'll read it out. Guys, is it worth taking into account Friday's SPY option max pay number with all the catalysts happening this week? 579. Joseph, thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't. Is it an expiry this week? I don't know. Yeah, I would have to look a little bit more into that, but. Hey, with the SPY just continuing to move higher, so you can't really go wrong. This FOMC meeting is really important, so we'll take a look at that. But always take into consideration the Friday expiry cycles. Is this the last Friday of the year? I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check on that front. But again, yeah, I can't really complain on that front. Let me pull up the question again, guys. You can Friday SPY option max pay number with all the catalysts happening this week. Yeah, 579. Let's pull up. 579 is a little bit of a push. I don't know if we're going to head all the way down there, but it's definitely, I mean, anything can happen, right? And if you want to classify that as max pain, then sure enough, that will bring it. 579 is a ways down there, and that would be extremely max pain. Filling in this gap here, I don't think we go that low. But again, anything can happen. But in bull markets like this, don't expect that large of a retracement, okay? That's a little bit hefty of a move, and we're going to look from a percentage metric from where that would be from right now to 579. Yeah, all right, that is a 5% move. It's happening, but I don't think it's going to happen in this market. We've been on an absolute run since 23, even a little bit earlier, since the market turned around in mid-22, or I guess late 22 in October, and we haven't looked back since. So a 5% retracement, even though we are slightly extended, I don't think it's going to happen on this case. But again, don't rule anything out because in this market, anything can happen. But from a hawkish standpoint, I don't see it going that way. But thank you, Rory, for that $5 super chat. Much appreciated, folks. And yeah, guys, we only have about 15. Well, we're gonna send it off to the big boy soon, and when they're ready, we're gonna dock this trade here. And I think as of right now, are we a little profitable here on this one, Sharif? Let's see. No, we're not. We're a couple cents out of the money, which is unfortunate. But we'll hold on to this one. We still have a little bit of time. We're gonna send it to the big boys in a matter of minutes, and then we'll document just before we do. But again, I like this second poll here, Papa Powell FOMC announcement. Guys, get your votes in on that. 72% to the pump side with 760 votes, and then 28 to the dump side. So again, usually how our playmaker poll goes, Sharif, on that front. A lot of bullish. People are bullish. I'm a bull. How about yourself, my guy?
Oh, I'm
big time. Yeah, big time bull.
Guys, we took a quick $1.50 winner quick here on QMCO. Look, this was moving parabolic, so I lost my mind. I punched in at 53.50, and we took it out 55. Quick as you like. QMCO, that's been my modus operandi on the day. Trading this one, I just don't want to be in it for a long time, so we've been scalping. Look, we did decent on it. Not the best. Certainly, obviously, you could do a lot better with these ones because they're giving you a lot more. So hopefully, I'll be able to improve a little bit. NUKK halted to the high side again, 52.62. It's below the high, 57.45. It's an up halt, and you love to see this. So even though this has been halting to no end, I love to see this kind of respect, Katina, man, for the moving averages on the 5-minute chart. Look at both these candles, both the one at 135 and the one at 140 held up to a dang T on the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. You want to say it was a $45 area, have at it. I see it more as a 10 exponential, especially having got it well extended, moving into that 57.45, all the while the 10 exponential was at 43, and we've been talking about that. It needs to be a little bit more proportionally, that's not the word I'm looking for. It needs to be, it can't be that extended away from the 10 exponential. That's kind of, it's an informal gauge. It's not scientific. I really don't have another way of explaining it other than just keep your eye on the 10 exponential relative to the price with these bad boys. So that's a look right now. What else are we doing over here? So I'm not involved in that. I'm still involved in GameStop. I'm still involved in KULR. KULR did its best to break that high of the day. At 60s, it got to 64s. But since that time, we've been putting in lower lows and lower highs. We're long at 05, so I don't mind packing my patience. We're long below VWAP because VWAP was a lot lower at the time. It's up 69%. Not a bad look here on KULR. Not doing much on GameStop. Again, we talked about that double top at 31.70. It's come back into that midpoint 31.20s a little bit, 31.30s a little bit. Not really doing a whole hell of a lot. So I'll keep my eye on Nuke. I'll keep my eye on QMCO, which is now open again. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were trying to hit something there. QMCO open again, guys. Here it is. Below 55s where the halt level was. So keep your eye on this one, 53.25. It's not below 51. 51 is where I gauge support on QMCO. Look at all the wiffle and waffle candles, all of which rejected 51, dipped into 44, and then we took it big boy again. So maybe a possible dip trade near 51. Yeah, you're unlikely to get 51 on the dot. You're going to have to front run it, 51.5, 51.75. This moves dollars at a time. So completely normal to be able to do that. So we'll keep an eye on QMCO, but I think we only have 1 more minute left.
We got one more.
And then we're going to send it off to the big kahunas because Powell is coming
Exactly. So I guess we should document our trade, I think, right now. Sharif.
Hey.
So let's see what our exit price is here. Pull her up. Unfortunately, we're going to take an L on this one, folks, but that's okay. We're going to rebound. 605.36 was our entry price, and we are going to be exiting at
26. We're literally 605.27.
5.27.
Oh,
bang.
No, we're broke.
We're broke. That's
What
it.
do we lose there?
We lose.
bucks?
Not even 10 cents. $10.
Okay.
We lost $10.
Okay.
11 bucks, guys. So sorry, I didn't hear that, Andre.
Yeah, it's okay.
One last thing before we send it over to the boys. Sharif, what do you think this announcement's going to do to Bitcoin?
Oh, if we cut, I think everybody's pricing in the cut, Joseph, 25 bips. I think as the interest rate comes down, it's technically supposed to weaken the dollar. If it weakens the dollar, the US dollar that is, not the Canadian dollar, that's already weak, it's supposed to strengthen Bitcoin. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. But it is now, guys, It is now, oh, big spile.
Big spile.
Sharif, Joe, just getting done with meetings in time for the surprise pause. Wow, big spile. Bring on the Santa Red Chimneys. All right, with that, the Perma Bear has spoken, but we do have the OG at the big desk. Send it up to Brendo.
That would be exciting. There would be some volatility if we do get that. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case coming up this afternoon. Welcome in, guys. 15 minutes to go, or just under 15 minutes to go here. We'll get the last, if you can believe it, last FOMC